Let's find that comfortable space inside of ourselves. Be still and know your oneness with all creation. Knowing that you are the divine one. You are who we've been waiting for. Allow yourself to walk in that authority and that knowledge of your divine true self. And for this time that we get the opportunity to spend this time together with the healing energy of the universe flowing in, through, and around our beings. We say Ashe. 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 So this morning we're going to be talking about divine transformation, and our speaker is Asar Bey. What do you feel when you say transformation? Do you even know when you're going through the transformation? What is it? What does it feel like? Because most times you don't recognize it. You don't even know that it's happening to you. But other people see you. They see, they'll say, oh, you're losing weight, you gained your weight, you got lighter, you got darker. Something is different and they don't know what it is. But it's there. You are going through that change. So he's going to talk to us about that. So we can sit back, relax, get your questions ready, and keep your questions, at the end for him. Present Asar.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Again, my name is Asar Bey. I have a program that's called Knowledge of Self, Outreach Center, and it's centered around teaching young people, but also adults. I work with a lot of ex-offender programs. This morning I was in Baltimore working with young people who are recovering off of heroin. We've been 12 years old. I'm speaking to these young people, and it was very interesting when we talked about this topic, because I'm constantly dealing with helping young people assist them in transitioning from one point to another. But first, before we can do that, we have to understand what transition is and how to recognize it. First of all, it is important to realize, first of all, who you are. It has to start with knowledge of self. Before you can recognize transition, you have to know some things about yourself. A lot of times people go get training and go to different classes and to learn about everything outside of themselves. Most people do not start off thinking about, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Outside of you being the one out of the 499,999,999 sperm, and you were chosen for that purpose. So I wanted to start with today, I was going to talk a little bit about myself and how I made my personal transformation. But for one, when you say divine, we have to all understand we are God beings, so you are divine anyway.
That's right.
So when you understand that, your transitions are always spiritual, but you just have to understand it. I'm just about myself.
That's right. It's time for everybody to make that shit.
Right. Got transition to vibrate.
That's right.
You can start that now.
On hands class.
Okay. I wanted to talk about words. I think the average person, I don't think really know that they may not know how to read. We quote what we see, but can you actually read?
Mm-hmm.
When we go, if we have a legal case, we may go to an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every word that was written in your case is in the alphabet from A to Z,
Right.
and you understand those alphabets, but you do not understand this case. You may go to a doctor, and the doctor is telling you all these 12 and 15 letter words that you never heard before, but you can't pronounce it.
That's right.
and you can't quote it,
Uh-huh.
but yet you cannot read.
Uh-huh.
See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So we go to different places. We go to work. We go to classes. Our schools, they're closed in like prisons, so you can be taught in a closed environment, so you can only learn in a closed environment.
That's right.
So that's things that you have to transform from, because life will always present a situation where you're not going to have a classroom situation.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, so the first part I always deal with, I have to deal with phonetics. The average person, when they're born into this planet, you are introduced to the mentality of your household or your geographical area where you are. Nobody's actually introduced to the planet.
Mm.
You're introduced to your situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're not understanding latitude and longitude. You don't understand your circulatory system. You don't know any of these things. And then culturally, as melanated people, for the most part in this country, we're introduced to the things, the don'ts, the things that we cannot do. So we almost are given a disadvantage. Because, oh, bro, this is a white man's world. You're going to have to do this. It's going to be tough for you. Now, because a word is powerful, what makes a word is powerful? Because it's a spoken symbol. Symbols are already powerful in and of themselves, but when you speak them, you've given life to that symbol.
Right.
Of the spoken word in the universe that's already living. So we're actually, from inception, we're always going through a transformation culturally. So actually, what we have to realize is, one, the only thing consistent in life is change.
That's right.
And what's funny is that's the most hardest thing for most people to do.
That's right.
Which means you're out of alignment. You understand?
That's right.
With nature,
That's
with
right.
how life works.
That's right.
Because we fight the I noticed recently I went to a funeral, and this young man that was killed, he was thank you. He was a neighborhood kid. He was a kid that the mother wanted me to try to mentor him. And right the week that I got him, he got killed the same week. And he told me he was tired.
Mm.
He said, "This is all I know." He was like, "I was raised in the streets." He said, "I'm tired." He was like, "I just been feeling funny." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, maybe you won't get your spirit right," because I said, sometimes we all know our own demise. I was like, something happened to me when I was in a life and death situation, and I knew it that morning. I couldn't pinpoint it. I got a nervous feeling in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, something's not right today. Then later on that day, I was almost killed. When I was a young person, a lot of these senses, a lot of these things we have, we let them pass by without investigating it.
That's right.
Why do I have this heightened sense? Why is it that a genius only uses 10% of his or her brain, but a person that does not exist on that level only uses 4 or 5%? Why is it we have all this brain but only capable of using a small percentage of it?
Mm-hmm.
That's because the system has been created for you to be inside of a box.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I don't know if anybody saw the movie The Matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix is one of my favorite movies.
That's right.
The reason why The Matrix is one of my favorite movies, Neo always had the gift,
Mm-hmm.
but he could not effectively utilize it until he learned that everything around him wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
He had to first accept that everything around him was a lie.
That's right.
Then once he internalized that, the red or blue pill was just something tangible for your brain to make a decision.
Right.
So that really didn't mean anything.
That's right.
That was just something natural for your flesh.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you notice, when he went to the real world, he had to go in naked, and that was representation of tearing down everything that he ever learned.
That's right.
And he had to go back into the birth canal. He had to come through naked. And then the art of acupuncture had to be utilized for him to restructure his muscles.
That's right.
And if you notice, in the back of his head, it was a place where information can be uploaded.
That's right.
Now, though that information was uploaded, right, he had all these skills, but he was not proficient without Morpheus.
Mm-hmm.
Morpheus represented his transition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Morpheus had to go to who? My aunt, the mother.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
She had to oversee it. Now, why is that? This always say the sun and the earth are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great relationship because they decide what grows and what dies.
That's right.
So the mother is the overseer because the mother birthed both men and women, which makes her a god. You understand?
That's right.
So understanding that three-part. And then once he began to learn this information and knowledge in the real world, once he came back into the corporate fiction, he had all power. He could bend time.
That's right.
He could duck things that's traveling over 1,000 miles an hour. Why? Because it was a lie. None of it was real. When you can understand that everything around you, you can actually wield yourself.
That's right.
Everything around you has to change.
That's right.
This young lady was like, my nickname is Jack. And she says, Mr. Jack, why am I always attracting these negative men? She said, I make a 6-figure salary. I live in an $800,000 home. I wear all the best clothes and everything. I said, you just told me the reason why you keep attracting these things, these type of men. I was like, because you never invested in yourself. See, the thing is, when we see a nice car, say you see a Bugatti going up the street, the first thing a person will say, damn, that's a nice car. Not only is it a nice car, that car costs $1.5 million. So the first thing you see is the thing. When I see that car, I was like, that car started with a thought. Then that thought was spoken, which gave that thought a reality. After the spoken word, it was written, it was blueprinted,
That's right.
it was mapped. And then the inception from machines that men also created.
That's right.
So most people, they see the thing. Most things that men and women lust after on a natural level or material level came from the mindset of a human being, but we respect the thing more than we do the human. Why? Because we don't understand due process. I see your shirt, but I see a seed that started in the ground and manifested a cotton plant from yarn to this shirt.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Due process, transition. When you have that type of mindset, you will understand some of your pain better. Maybe you can internalize it in a different way. Is this actually pain, or should I enjoy the process?
That's right.
Like, is this? Because see, I tell people everything that happens to you, it's the way you perceive it and how it affects you.
That's right.
I talk to the youth all the time. I said, if you have two mountains here, you have a mountain here and a mountain here. This person represents negativity, this person represents positivity. They both have to make this journey over this mountain.
Right.
And the journey is not easy because, on a mountain, it looks like a smooth place. But when you're down there, you got rocks, trees, different terrain, 10-foot holes, sinkholes, all kinds of things. The person on the right that represents negativity might say, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Man, by the time I get up there, how am I going to get back down? Because all my energy will be depleted because I see this journey is far too much, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Positive side, by the time I get to the top of this mountain, there's going to be so much that I've learned. My lung expansion, my calf muscles, my thigh muscles. By the time I get to I'm going to be in such great condition, my next journey may be a little easier. Now, their mental perception is going to affect them on a physical level. The person that's negative will get tired faster because he's already set that up for himself to lose.
That's right.
This person will get tired, but his mindset will allow him to continue on this journey. Sometimes we look for transformation in a future sense, but sometimes transformation can happen before you actually step into that realm. You can do it here. I believe it was a chapter in the Art of War. He said, don't go to war seeking to win. Have the battle won before you go to war. So a lot of times, most of us are already defeated because of our mindsets.
That's right.
So once you transition your mind, I said something to the Queen here about having a meeting, and I said, well, because I walk in purpose, my days are already planned, so I don't have to plan my day. Because everything in my purpose has all the tools that I need so I can be fruitful in this life.
That's right.
So a lot of times people have to understand, even if you don't have a mapped out day, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with organization,
That's right.
but sometimes you being mentally organized will set up everything around you. You know, it's like you walk into a junky room. It's like, you know what, let me just clean this up. I know it's not even my room, but in order for me to exist in this space, it has to be clean. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times, because a lot of us do not live inside ourselves,
That's right.
we allow everything in it. So before you know it, you're built with so many foreign entities inside of you. This young lady told me, I just be craving all the time. I said, that's not you, those parasites. I said, you don't have power over yourself. I was like, because these cravings are letting you know these entities is inside yourself. This is what I need to survive. So since this is what I need to survive, I'm going to require that you need this refined sugar. I'm going to require that you need these additives in this food. I'm going to require that you need Housewives of Atlanta. Right. I'm going to require these things. Right. Because in order for me to keep you on this minute level, in order for me to keep you on this level, I need for you to be bound. That's right. Right? And a lot of times, you know, you see a lot of people, they appear free, but they're bound. Because mindset, mentality will bind you. Fear, what we call the acronym for that, false evidence appearing real. That's right. Fear. Something that you really can't even touch, but it's so real to you. And it will stop you, will bind you from your success. I've been there. Yeah. I've been there. I had to make so many transitions because I grew up in Trinidad, Northeast. The paradigm, the paradigm of my neighborhood was kill or be killed when I was young. That was the understanding. And when you have that understanding, my care for other lives wasn't that important. That's right. Because I was raised, I guess, in a poor situation. I know how I feel to wash up in buckets. I know how I feel to have served sandwiches and all kinds of different things. That's right. I learned that. Did you get the Band-Aid? Oh man, thank you. And I learned to transcend my mind. When I would be in that cold house with no electricity in the wintertime, I would sit in my room and I would take my body to a place in a warm house. I would fill my stomach with my thoughts with a hearty meal, and I would actually get full. Wow. Fortunately, though I grew up in a chaotic situation, what was a blessing to me that I had a foundation. I had two parents. Okay. One was a former Panther. My father was a street guy, but what was funny about him, he had a scholarship, a plane ticket to go to MIT, but he was using his intellect on the street. I was born a heroin addict. I was born on drugs. Once my father saw me in that state, he made his divine transformation because he saw his sins manifested in me. So it caused him to change his life cold turkey. So him having a genius IQ in mathematics, naturally, it was passed to me. So in doing so, I'm learning college level physics at 10 and 11 years old. My father told me one time all of us were hungry. All of us were hungry. And my father said, son, I'm going to be able to give you a lot of things, but I'm going to give you knowledge. And once I give this to you, I'll teach you how to cultivate it. I can't teach you how to make money outside of stuff that I don't know. So because I internalized that and I took it in a negative manner. So at 12 years old, I used that as an excuse to get in the streets and sell drugs to help my family. And I'll filter the money through my sister because she got a little job, so they won't know I'm in the streets. So I'm running my little young game as a 12-year-old. I've seen the worst in human beings. Growing up in this situation, I've seen heartless men. I've seen heartless men, and they would walk your mother down the street with a bag of groceries, but they can do the most heinous things. And I never understood that when I was younger. I was like, he's nice, but I just saw him blow this man's head clean off and go eat a cheese piece like it didn't happen. But he just helped this woman up the street. And I said, how does that work? Because this other guy I know, he's always angry. And in his anger, he's always doing violence. But I'm watching this guy, he's always happy, but he's the most evil. I said, how is this possible? I'm trying to figure this situation out. He's mad and angry. This dude is happy and speaks to everybody, but will kill fresh air and won't lose sleep. And he was the guy who actually introduced me to the streets. So as I was around this man, he taught me so many things. And he said, well, I asked him, I said, how is it easy for you to kill somebody? I asked him since I was 13 years old. He looked me in my eye and said, he said, everybody has a destination. I might just rush it a little bit.
Just like.
There was nothing.
Right.
He was like, all death is definitely going to happen.
Right.
He said, I'm in a situation where I may help assist them a little quicker if they're in my lane. It was strictly business.
That's right.
And when I thought about it, I said, is he evil or does he have another way to view life? People think on different levels. Like if you saw somebody molesting your daughter, you can be the nicest person in the world, but a killer instinct will come over you and you're ready to kill this predator that's on your child. Does that make you a killer? If you kill, does that make you a killer? Or is a killer somebody who drew a killing? You see what I'm saying? It's the type of mindsets that we have, right?
That's right.
That put us in situations. I got pulled over one time. I had some youth in my car. I was taking them to the Blacks and Whites Museum in Baltimore. And the neighborhood kids that I had in this minivan, it was two neighborhoods that were beefing with each other. And these two neighborhoods have actually killed each other. So thankfully, I got both of them in the same minivan at one time. It's tense. I mean, you can cut it with a machete. I mean, it was tense. Everybody looking straight ahead. Nobody looking at each other. And everybody starting conversations with me so they won't have to talk to themselves. I said, well, won't you ask little ding right there? You ask him. No, I'm all right. They talk straight.
That's right.
We get pulled, a lot of times when I have the youth in my car, when people see my image, they probably think, I'm going to be listening to hip hop. So I be having on Bach and different jazz, Robert Glasper, just all kinds of jazz in the car. And so people see me, they're like, oh, okay. So when the youth get in the car, I may have on some classical music. Right. In 10 minutes, all of them sleep. Every last one of them, because they're not used to that frequency. Right. They're not used to that vibration. So 10 minutes, and I do it on purpose, because I try to give them a peaceful situation. Everything in their life, because I've been there, is tense. Everything. They do not know how to transform from one place to another. I tell people, or I was talking about earlier, the power of words. I was like, somebody told you lived in the ghetto. That word is associated with negativity, so you take on that spirit. So wherever you go, you want people to know I'm hood. My IQ could be 180. But I have to represent condom terrorists. Everywhere I go, I'm not going to complete a sentence. I'm going to say something stupid because it's accepted. It's okay. So you allow this word to create everything around you because you didn't investigate it. Like the word voodoo. Ooh, people get scared. But it's a French word, and it means spiritual Adam. So the first time you hear it, you get spooky. Why? Because you were turned against yourself, which is one of the reasons why it's so hard for melanated people to transition. Because we are in bondage on so many different levels. We have to break down at least 20 to 30 walls by the time you turn 40. Like you have to go through so many transitions because we've been lied through religiously, spiritually, lied to about our melanin. We've been taught to hate our hair, our lips, our nose. Everything, hate your cultural names, everything we've been taught to hate. So by the time we get to a first transition and you meet somebody else that's conscious, you're like, what? I just got the level 2, you are level 5,000. Like how many more levels is it? It doesn't stop. The planet is too old for anybody to get old. Everybody dies young.
Oh, man.
I'm old. You ain't old. It's probably a few billion years old. You can't get old.
That's right.
If you live to be 1,000 years old, you die young.
That's right.
Because everything around you is old. You know what I'm saying? And people have to look at it like that. Why would the average person die in their 60s and their 70s? Because the world taught you that's the time you're supposed to die. You accept it and you die. Your body begins to break down. The hundreds of millions of neurons, they see the reason why your body is over 70% water because you conduct electricity.
That's right.
So once you understand that energy, you have to realize it's messages that have to go through your body, which is the reason why stress will kill you on a physical level.
That's right.
Because it's a big message board. It's a big highway, right? And there's transportation going on. There's deliveries being made to your pancreas, to your liver, to your kidneys. There's deliveries being made. And a lot of times, your mind, doctors, what they will do, because they know cancer and other diseases are very beatable, what they'll do, if they see something that's possibly has calcified into a mass, they will scare you in the doctor's office because they know anxiety expands cells. It expands it. So they will scare you into going to get chemo and radiation so they can make money off you for about 3 years, make a few million, because it costs like $177,000 just to turn the machine on. So by the time they're done with you, then get you to hospice care, they'd have made a few million off you because it's like moving real estate.
That's right.
It's like, okay, now on to my next victim. They tell you everything but to give you a diet. I got threatened by Big Brother before because I helped a young lady get rid of a disease they said I was incurable. And after I helped her get rid of it in 3 months, well, first of all, when I came to a brother of mine came to me, and he was like, "This lady is getting her funeral arrangements together." And he was like, "I know you helped somebody before. You think you can help her?" I said, "Sure, if she's ready to transition from her lifestyle."
That's right.
He was like, "I don't know." I mean, I've seen people on their deathbed and say, "I can't give up cake. I'm sorry."
Right.
I'm like, "What? Really? Your life is based upon sugar?" Okay. So I said, "Listen. You're going to have to stop smoking, you're going to have to stop drinking, you're going to have to cut off fast food, you're going to have to cut off meat immediately. No meat, nothing, no milk, no cheese, no nothing." She said, "That going to save my life?" I said, "Yes." I said, "With the herbs I'm going to give you."
Right.
She said, "Okay, I'll do it." When I got to her levels where she was 170, she was way under 200 for her T cells, so she was at full blown. 3 weeks, we were at 315. A month after that, she was undetected. In a 2-month period, and this woman, she was in disbelief. Now, the thing about how powerful that was, sometimes your disbelief will prevent your healing.
Yes.
Like the story, of one of the stories of Yeshua, before they say he will heal someone, he will ask them, "Do you believe?"
That's right.
So, did he heal you or did you heal yourself?
Right.
He didn't say by your faith you.
What was the message? You understand? What was the understanding? What was the understanding? So a lot of times what people don't realize, everything around you is always already living. So you just have to accept what's already is.
That's right.
And that's what people don't know, understand the what is factor. Once you internalize something, most of the time you destroy yourself. Like, understand, like your stomach. It has similar nerve endings as your brain, which is the reason why the first place you feel fear is in your core. Okay. When you internalize something, in the first place you feel here, you feel fear, you about to, "Ooh, I almost got in an accident."
Right.
"Oh, my son almost fell, I called him." You feel it immediately in your stomach, right? That lets you know the relationship that your body has. We don't have that same relationship consciously with our body. We don't do it. If I'm about to get sick, I haven't been sick since I was a kid. I'll talk to it and say, "You can't be in my system. I don't allow you to come in."
Right.
I tell people, when you have a disease, you talk to it because it has its own consciousness, whether you believe it or not, because everything is living.
That's right.
That's what people have to realize. You don't belong here. I'm helping a young lady with cancer right now, and it's already a shrink 2 inches in a 1-month period, and it's lung cancer, and it's in the lymph nodes. They gave her a death sentence. I said, "It's not a death." I said, "It's a death sentence if you believe it."
That's right.
I was like, when you internalize that word, it becomes life inside of you, right? And then you have to understand a lot of these machines give you these diseases just with the radiation. Sometimes they check you, they give you something with these immunization shots. Why? Because they understand due process. Sometimes these scientists understand transition better than some of us who call ourselves spiritual.
That's right.
I'm like, "Yeah, he ain't no serious spiritual person. I'm gonna break them down." They believe in this system right here.
That's right.
And they know that. If you don't believe me, Yeshua, they said he went into a temple and beat the people out because they turned it into a marketplace. But almost every ministry sells cakes, pies, DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because understand that the safety of it really doesn't matter. Why? Because they haven't transitioned to that point of understanding. Once you internalize and understand that everything is a journey and you have the power to actually control it. This young man said, he told me, he said, we stay in the present time, so, you have to roll with the now.
Mm.
I said, well, if time don't stop, how can it be a present?
Mm.
I said, so since time doesn't stop, that means you are the master of your own destiny. You're always walking in the future.
Mm.
I said, once you understand that paradigm, once you understand that you are the master of your own destiny and you have the power to change your situation with your thoughts,
That's right.
it will change everything around you. So when I was talking about the young lady earlier, she was like, I keep attracting these negative men, negative women. I said, you have to change your mind. I said, when you change your mind, which will represent a lifestyle change, things that's not in that alignment have to dissipate anyway.
That's right.
So you don't have to sometimes move to California or leave the country. You can do that just by changing your mindset.
That's right.
Point blank period. Because if you trying to take a test and you trying to be focused for this test, and the person beside you was talking about craziness, you might get up and move to another desk because you're trying to be focused, right? But sometimes you be in a situation where you cannot move.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to own your thoughts and learn how to block people out, right?
That's right.
But sometimes your level of focus will do that for you.
That's right.
See, sometimes you ever see a horse with the horse blinders?
That's right.
The man that's riding him has to be his guide, and he's doing that so the horse won't have any distraction so he can stay on the path.
Right.
There's a scripture in the Quran that says, I will lie and wait for you on your straight path. And that's heavy when you think about that, what that means. Because a lot of times when you are the most focused, sometimes things won't come on the outside to destroy you. Something that's already in that lane that you are in will come to destroy you. My grandfather was a Church of God in Christ preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for that background because it was very, very strict. It was very, very strict. And I'm considered a rebel in my family because I don't practice or have the same beliefs. But this young man, we would debate all the time. And he was like, I know you don't believe I believe, but I seen this man pray somebody back to life, and they were dead. So how can't this be real? This and that. I said, okay. I said, you say you prayed him back to life? He said, yeah. I said, imagine religion as a focal point to get you a relationship with yourself because you can't directly do it on your own. Thank you. I'm in sweating like a preacher telling the truth. So what I explained to him was this. I was like, I know a man who practices Islam. He was paralyzed. I said, he's now walking. I said, are you going to tell him Allah's not real to him? Just like you're going to tell a person Jesus is not real to you. I said, though I can break down etymology and teach you the timeline of letters and words and teach you about the Council of Nicaea and all these things, you might not even accept it.
That's right.
And I can show you fact.
Mm-hmm.
Belief is so powerful that religion can say 5 + 5 = 12, and you can prove to them it equals 10, they will still go with the 12.
That's right.
And you can scientifically prove it, but people still won't accept it because, one, people are scared of change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you get over the fear that binds you, it takes you to that next level. Now, I know it takes you to the next level because I was scared of my gifts around people around me that didn't have too many. So I suppressed myself and I was unsuccessful on purpose so I could seem average amongst men who was stuck in a specific paradigm of thought. So in my neighborhood, it was cool to be a killer. It was cool to be a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm around these guys. I'm doing certain things. I'm going home. I'm studying Imhotep, Socrates, Aristotle, Nietzsche, all different kinds of things. I'm hooking school and I'm in the philosophy section of the library for 8 hours because I want to know. I'm meeting with master masons, I'm meeting with Moors, I'm meeting with different professors. I want to go here, I want to go see Louis Farrakhan, I want to go see Khalid Muhammad, I want to go meet all kinds of people, because the foundation that my mom put in me as a Panther, and when they transitioned to Pentecostal, I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So I'm already a revolutionary by this time, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. So now we're going to hear. But I can't be mad. And a lot of my friends that don't share similar beliefs, they were like, I don't want to hear this and that. I said, I can listen to anything because I'm cool with my foundation of myself. I can understand somebody else's praise and it won't offend me because that's their level of understanding. When a person, I'm going to tell you a great transformation you can make in yourself. Understanding somebody else's process. Because when you can look at somebody else and understand their process and don't pass judgment on them, that takes maturity.
That's right.
As a human being, and most people can't do it. Most people can't do it. You can't look and be like, that's the level that they're on.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot of growth. It took me years to get there. Because you talk about somebody that was super judgmental, and I ain't saying nothing wrong with judging, because you only can judge by the fruit. But sometimes the fruit that you see can be a little perverted. You might be seeing what you think you're seeing. Right. I mean, Hollywood has the biggest concentration of shrinks because sometimes they get stuck in their role and they don't know who they are. And that's the same thing in life. Sometimes we walk around and we've taken on so many different personalities, we can lose track of ourselves and we don't know who the heck we are. Unfortunately, in our situation, we've had very, very intelligent mad scientists who studied our DNA for a long time. So certain additives in food that attach to your melanin, they've made certain things a certain way. We're going to change you. I'm going to feminize you through your food and through the media. It's this guy that's under investigation now. He's actually a brother out of Harvard. He tested the additives in this food on frogs. And it turned the male frogs into the females. And a lot of this stuff is being pumped. Go ahead, bro.
I want to touch on that because it's interesting that you said that. See, I went 2 years without watching television. And then I started back watching TV.
Wow.
Those HD TVs,
yes.
When they say they get directly into your DNA, they get directly deep into your DNA. Because every time every time I go over there and I watch the TV, I can feel it going inside. You know, I can feel the energy from it going inside. One day, I walked up to the television and I was like, I gotta cut that TV off because I could feel they sending energies through those televisions.
Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said
like there's a few things you detected on since I walked through this door.
I'm so grateful.
We walked the same path because when I left, I was in United Nations of Islam. When I left the United Nations of Islam, I moved back in with my mom. And somebody asked me this, like, why are you going back? Because I was like, because I gotta go back. Because I gotta figure out what it was that stopped me in the first place.
Right.
So I gotta retrace my steps. So I had to go back. And then it was something else you just said and just made me think of something. It was like I seen it in my reality.
I'm so glad you said that. But you also have to understand, was you going back to your mother actually going backwards?
I know.
You see what I'm saying? Based on your longitude, and based on where you're moving, sometimes when you think you're going forward, you could be going backwards. So it's understanding your position. I always just say you had to realign yourself. Because you can't go back to mother and say that's backpedaling. Because that's your inception in life. You see what I'm saying? Going back to your inception is actually realigning yourself to start your path again. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go back to the source. Now, about the television, artificial intelligence is all around us. But understand, men made it. So if a man made these HD televisions, why don't you think you can't have a relationship with it? Everything works off frequency. People don't understand. We have different frequencies. It's no different from a dog sensing your fear. Because it has a scent to it.
Yes.
If you Barack Obama has a neuroscientist who created this little Band-Aid chip that you can place on the brain, and somebody can literally have a remote control that control you. Navy, do the Navy y'all sound familiar?
Right.
Okay. Look like he was under control, wasn't he?
Yes,
Like Dave Chappelle when he was being the Lord, you know what I'm saying? This stuff is real. But the thing about it is, we are so unconscious. One thing I had to learn, I had to be beware of my crowd. I spoke at a funeral one time for a young man, and I got to talk about quantum science and physics, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I'm in Southeast, and I'm not passing judgment. But these kids out here getting high to this person's memory. And I had to realize this is not I have to be a little bit more practical, right? And so understanding that, I had to bring them from square one up to here in maybe a 30-minute period, right? And that was a transition inside myself, because sometimes you can go so far. I remember one time I meditated so long, I was out for 3 days. And I didn't eat or drink nothing, and I was not hungry. It scared the complete crap out of me, because I was getting to a point and I pulled myself back because I got scared. It was a place of the unknown, right? I was so out of it that it knocked the electricity off of my whole house. And it was a place I was like, wow, when you really, really find out your energy and how your body works. You ever been thinking about a song and you've been singing it and you hear somebody beside you start singing it? When are we going to get to the point where we can actually control that?
That's right.
Because that was telepathy.
Yes, it is.
But you just didn't know how to properly do it yourself. Now, like we was talking about the HD television, you grab a remote control to turn it on. You did it with your brain, but your hand had to touch the remote control. You can do it with your mind, but we haven't let go enough yet to be able to get to that capacity of using our mind. Now, the blessing in us being melanated is that's a conduit that most people are power that most people don't have.
That's right.
When you know how to properly activate it.
That's right.
And you activate it with your thought process, accepting your greatness.
That's right.
A lot of times, I don't have nothing against people. I do have a problem with a lot of these prosperity ministries, because it only teaches prosperity on a monetary level. If I'm in the middle of a hood and I'm in a ministry and I put up in a Phantom Bentley, you're only associating being saved with materialism. You can get this high, right?
That's right.
But if I never attain monetary riches, am I not still great?
That's right.
Am I not still rich? This type of mentality has to be taught to our young brothers and sisters, so we can be around each other and see his Nike foam posits and be like, those are just shoes.
Right.
Is this brother life worth that, right? When over there they cost, what, 15 cents to make, and they swell them up to 1,000% over here because you all hold for $1. Everybody comes to this country to make money off of unconscious niggas. Let's just keep it real.
That's right.
Everybody comes to this country to make money because we put things before human life. Like I said before, everything that men and women lust after on a natural and material level came from the mindset of a man or a woman, but we respect the thing more than we do the human. Because we don't live inside ourselves. We live outside ourselves.
That's right.
Once you live inside of you, I tell people all the time, don't try to impress me with your house, because I'm not impressed.
That's right.
Don't even try to impress me with your car. You can be driving a Gremlin or be on the metro. This is where you live.
That's right.
Everything else is secondary.
That's right.
If you live in a hut, it's okay, because you live here. I would rather be cut up strong as an ox and can jog 20 miles than to be out of shape in $1 million house. Because you're really not rich, because money can only buy things.
That's right.
That's all that. That's what's up. So, and understanding that, think about this. Why is it that ancient man had more technology then than we do now? Things they still cannot figure out. Why did we live longer? The mentality has changed. In order for people, you think you see some of these people, some of these congressmen and senators, you think that's them, they've been dead. That's somebody else, they've been cloned. Oh, they've been doing it. It was cloning in 10,000 years ago. It's nothing new. Think about it. How can I go from a stagecoach in the 1800s to a stealth bomber?
Just like that.
Do evolution work that fast, or did you have help? You see what I'm saying? So it's so much going on around us, and we have to. And see, one thing I'm so glad you brought up that television. I know a few people in broadcasting, and I was studying the relationship. Why is it that Washington D.C. has more concentration of breast cancer and prostate cancer fatalities more than anywhere in the United States? And then I said, okay, we got all these military bases around, this constant chemtrails, we have all these satellites, we were bombarded with fast food carryouts. I was like, this is really set up like a Monopoly board. It really is, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, there's certain populations, everybody got cancer. Hold up, if I tell you how many cancer clients I have, because I do homeopathic medicine and nutrition, if I tell you how many cancer clients, it's scary. Congestive heart failure at 27 years old. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then you try to enlighten, and what happens is, they have the inability to understand where you are because they're so chemically off balance. And that's the plan.
That's right.
Your kid got ADHD, no, he just need a home meal. I help people get rid of autism. No, they're just nutrient deficient. I'm allergic to that. No, that's where you're deficient in your body and you're having a reaction. I'm allergic to that. No, you just need vitamin C. And your body telling you that so you think you're sick. So you internalize it as sickness instead of your body letting you know. Say, for instance, you're walking and you trip and fall. You go to the doctor and you find out you had something else. Did your body make you have that accident so you can find out so that body can heal itself from something that was about to kill you? You see what I'm saying? You heard about the man, he was sitting on the sofa and his dog attacked his prostate and ripped his scrotums out, and they wanted to kill the dog. He went to the hospital and found out he had prostate cancer.
Wow.
The dog sensed it. Like, oh, Ashton, you sick. Let me get that. You know what I'm saying? Let me assist you. You see what I'm saying? But that's that heightened ability that we all have. How is it that we can train an animal that have more heightened ability than we do?
Come on now.
So where's your ability?
Come on now.
If I could train an animal that's have a sense,
That's right.
you know, sit, walk, roll over,
That's right.
bite that nigga, whatever, however you train them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
However you train them, how can we do that and we can't do that for ourselves?
That's right.
That's because we've been taught a specific way to stay controlled. Like a lot of these colleges were created by multi-billion-dollar people for their dumb kids. Let's just keep it real. When I was teaching the youth over at the jail, they said, what's the difference between rich and wealthy? I said, good question. I said, you can't get rid of wealth, but you can get rid of riches. They said, well, how so? I said, well, let's look at the Rothschild and the Bilderbergs and all these families, right? I said, what is it that they are transitioning to their children? Not money, information.
That's right.
They transfer information to so they can always constantly understand how you control the game.
That's right.
You don't need money. So we own everything because we own their mindset. You see what I'm saying? Everybody around us view us as a superior. I was going up 7th Street the other day, and I was just thinking about how Florida Avenue used to be called Boundary Avenue to let the slaves know this is as far as they can go. Most people don't know that. Florida Avenue is called Boundary Avenue.
Okay.
And I saw these young kids talking to this Caucasian police officer, and they were overjoyed. I mean, you just saw it. And I saw this man eating it up. Look at these little niggers, they just view me as God. I saw it. I saw the spirit on the man. I saw it like they soak it up because we don't view ourselves on a superior level. I was so mad at this Clippers owner. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at us. They were like, this is horrible. This is this and that. I said, I've been to 154 funerals in my life, and 95% of them was our people, our culture. I was like, why are we going to march for us? I said, this person that you view as a superior, you ready to stop the news because this man who I care nothing about is talking about niggas. It's some niggas I don't want to be around. That's fine. That's okay. Now, then this young lady, we have to understand her intentions. Her intentions wasn't because she liked niggas. She wanted some money. So she was in this situation where she could eat financially. So your heart was not in the right place, first of all. Now, we mad at him, and what I don't understand is what our people. Until you view yourself on another level, you're going to always view other people as more superior than you. And that has to stop. That's a mindset that has to stop. An inferior mindset will hold disease in your body. It will keep you bound. You will not go far in life when you have an inferior mindset. And people have to realize that. I've seen young men on murder cases go in these courtrooms. I mean, kids that put the gun on the forehead and pull the trigger, go in that courtroom. I'm like, well, where did the gorilla go? Yeah. You just tucked your toe to turn to Sambo. You know, Sambo was a black guy, but it was like, what happened? You still hear the crack of that whip resonate through hundreds of years, though the cracker was the slave. Most people don't know that. The cracker was the sound of the whip that the slave carried for the slave master. He would crack him, they'd say, here come that cracker. That's where that came from. So the cracker was actually that porch monkey nigga who wanted to impress the Caucasian. And when I hear all these stories of the Trayvon Martins were marching and doing this and that, and how many of our beautiful mothers have lost their children over Nikes and Eddie Bauer coats and North Faces. We don't march for our own people, so how can we expect other people to respect us as a culture? We've lost respect because we have not transitioned into who we really are. So, that being said, divine transformation is happening all around you. Like in one raindrop, you have several thousand microorganisms that procreate before they hit the ground. They've had their transition just in a snap of a finger. Life happening all around you at one time. A lot of us are looking for big miraculous miracles. That's right. But just your life alone is a miracle. That's right. When you understand your nervous system and your circulatory system and your veins and how your blood flows through your body and the thousands and thousands of miles of genetics in your system, you don't have to go nowhere to look for God. That's right. The mapping is already there. That's right. The mapping is already there. So, understanding what transition, another thing is that the biggest responsibility we have as people is actually accepting you. A lot of us hasn't accepted ourselves yet. Who validated the validator to validate me? Who made you the validator? Who told you that you could tell me I know I'm good? That's right. Oh, you're arrogant. Oh, I'm arrogant because you have confident issues. Oh, okay. You got issues with yourself. See, isn't it funny that a person that attained all these material things, they're fine. But when you take care of your personal upkeep, you're arrogant. That's right. Isn't that crazy? And that's another way to keep you physically sick and to keep you physically bound. Because we would chase after all these things, but this right here, we won't focus on it. You have to focus on it. When you break out, your body's talking to you. When you have a headache, your body, man, you have a little bit too much salt in the system, your blood pressure's high. I have allergies. No, you're chemically all balanced. There's no such thing as allergies. I never had an allergy in my life. Never. I can walk through miles of pollen and it won't bother me. Why? Because of how I eat, my diet. And people don't understand. I tell people this all the time. You put 93 octane in your bin there in your bin, but you eat from the $1 million. Wow. Think about that. I mean, that's deep to me. Because you will put a higher octane in your car, you will get oil changes, spark plugs, this and that. But what do you do for yourself? This is the first charity that we don't pay attention to. That transitional piece can go so many different ways. And like I said, anything that we do is divine because we are divine people. We are divine people. I wear this ankh. And I went to court one time, and I challenged the court on the situation. I challenged everybody. Delegation of authority. Who are you? I don't know who you are. I'm here on special visitation. I'm challenging these people. The judge is like this, looking at me. I'm reading him. I said, is he a Mason? Do I need to stand a specific way? Do I need to be 33 degrees? Right. Let me mess with his head. Let me let him know I'm conscious. Okay. I'm in this courtroom, and he looked at me, and he did like this. He nodded at me. Right. I said, this would be an easy case here. Because it was symbolism. That's right. Now, how many people Isn't it funny? We're surrounded by so much information around us,
That's right.
but only certain ones tap into it. And then after one other time I was in court, and she said, "Is such and such here?" I said, "No, his representative is." She said, "What? Where is he?" I put on my birth certificate. She said, "What's that?" I said, "That's the person you asked for." She said, "What?" I said, "That name was written in capital letters. That's a corporation. I'm a human being. You gotta get a ticket to this paperwork. I don't know what that is." Because this contract was erected outside of my knowledge.
Right.
Because I was too young to know.
That's right.
And a contract is a negotiable instrument that I did not negotiate.
That's right.
So that's not me. Get a ticket. Sir, come here. Come here, sir. Come here. Come here. I don't have time for this today, and I don't need for them to hear what you have to say. Have a good day. That's what I got. What was funny to me was she said, "I don't need for them to hear what you have to say."
That's right.
She threw the ticket out. Why? Because she didn't want people to be informed.
Right.
Information, transformation.
That's right.
Knowledge is transformation. Erykah Badu had a lyric in one of her songs in the night. She said, "The world has changed since I've been conscious." Like when I see a bridge, I used to do engineering, and when I see a bridge, I used to have to do the reports for bridges. I had to do the geometric assessments with math. Every nut and bolt has to be accounted for, or it can mean thousands of people's lives.
Right.
Just one bolt. There's so much engineering that goes into it. Most people, when they go over a bridge, they just see a fixture that was built by men. But when you have another level of understanding, you see things in a different light. Like I'll go back to the movie Matrix.
Okay.
You notice in the real world, when they looked at the monitor, all you saw was numerical variables.
Right.
Quantitative assessment, numbers. It didn't look like this.
That's right.
Whatever they're telling you, this life is based upon mathematical formula.
That's right.
Mathematical formula. I was like, fortunately, I was so blessed to find out that a black woman, a sister, wrote that movie.
Yes.
And they kicked her some money under the table, like, we can't let niggas write this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. So when I really got down to the nitty-gritty, it was understanding this movie. You can lecture for years on this movie, The Matrix. But the one thing that we are not taught as young people is economics. Everything else is taught in school. Sexual education, this and that, not economics. Now, no matter what language a person speaks phonetically, even if you cannot understand them, 5 + 5 = 10 in every language. So when you understand numbers, there's nobody that you cannot converse with, which is the reason why math is not popularized in certain areas. Because once you know numbers, you can speak to anybody. Everybody's familiar with Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes.
So intimidated of our ability, our numerical understanding. As soon as we're about to do business outside the country, here come these TNT bombs coming from the airplane. They are that intimidated of the greatest people on earth's transformation.
That's right.
When we transition, anything that we do in the world, everybody copies it, makes money off it. We don't. That's right. We are the best residual income ever to hit planet Earth. This Jewish guy told me in the 90s, he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, I'll drive 10 or 15 more miles to go to my Jewish brother's store to spend 10 to 20 more dollars just so I can keep the money in my community. I said, wow. And let me go to the shiny store to get this chicken noodle soup, because I ain't going to And that's what we'll do. If they want to take our business, they'll just put an Asian store right beside it. And what we really have to start understanding is why is it so easy for so-called foreigners to get loans faster than us? Because on paperwork, you're not a human being, because you want to call yourself everything but what you are. So it's easy for other nations who have represented with nationality to come and get loans, because you still want to be a nigga. You want to be a Negro. There is no nationality associated with these words that you call yourself, so how can you have any kind of right to get this fictitious money?
That's right.
And when people don't, transformation. We cannot go from one space to another without thinking it's negative. anything that has to do with our change, oh, you're racist reverse. I'm like, how can I be racist reverse? Don't like yourself. That's not conducive for my funds. You love you? That's a problem. You can't get this job. You have locked hair. Natural. Go burn your hair up, then you can come get this job. You know how many places I walked away from because I won't cut my beard? I won't do it. I'm not cutting my locks because I was like, this is an extension of me. Don't tell me my culture is not good enough for you when you don't have one. What is wrong with you? Everything that you are is because I've allowed it. So because I'm conscious of it, don't get mad at me and want me to what? Transform the people around me mindset. Because then it's going to be a situation where like, oh, we got so many people thinking this is a problem. So that's how, that's a lot of times why people do not make these transformations because of the kickback that people get when you make you know how hard it is for a person to step out there and do something they always wanted to do? Yeah. Because everybody around them views themselves on an inferior level and they try to give their negativity to you and tell you you can't do it. That's right. Because no disrespect, but just like it's different breeds of animals, it's different breeds of men.
That's right.
It's different levels, whether you want to accept them or not. It's different levels of men. And people have to understand, and I'm like, brother, you really not on my level. So don't try to get to a place that you haven't achieved, that you haven't been to the due process to get to this level. Keep growing. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And maybe we can have a conversation. That's right. But you can't comprehend on that level for you to be here. Yes, so wait a little bit to stay where you are, but don't try to block me. That's right. Because you don't understand. And that's what's happening. And that's why so many of us are so unsuccessful. Because we are like, how can you let a person that never made $1 million teach you how to make it? Say so. Nah, brother, this how you do it, brother. You have to say nothing with it. That ain't gonna work. But nothing you did ever work. You know how you can tell me? I remember this brother was like, man, it's a recession out here. I'm like, brother, I never seen you with money. You always been in a recession. Like, what's in a recession for you? Because your mindset. Why? Because your mind is in recession. That's right. That's right. It's only it ain't free. It ain't free. I remember what's the guy, Warren Buffett. He was like, well, most of the millionaires are created in recession because you have to get creative to make money. Yeah. But what we do now, I think people complaining because the minimum wage in some places went to $15 an hour. I was like, well, I remember when I was a kid, I used to knock these guys selling CDs and oils. I said, look at these guys, I'm out here getting this money. I'm getting this money out here. So, I'm 13, I got 3,000 on me. You always and dude told me, he said, I do too. I said, what? I said, what you mean? He said, yeah, I do too. He said, I do about 1,000 a day. I said, what? I said, for real. You ain't risking your life. I mean, you out here vending, and you getting up thinking I'm doing something special, risking my life, haters, police, stick up boy, everything for this dollar I'm whoring myself out for. And here's my brother it's so funny that how we knock people on because we don't understand their level of entrepreneurship. Because they don't own a big building or own this thing. We don't respect the average brother that's walking down with him and be selling food or selling incense. Look at that old weak nigga. That's right. But he's an entrepreneur and he has the testicular fortitude to step out there and be the master of his own destiny. Right. He has more courage than most people have. That's right. Because people are passing judgment on you, viewing you in a certain way, like, so, how much you want? You know? Right. Because he's transitioning his mind and none of this stuff really matters. None of this is real. As long as I can sustain myself, it doesn't matter if I'm a grade 13 in the government. I am my own grade because I am my own self-producer. So when you allow yourself to really step off the grid, I created a saying that says, how can you think outside of the box if you don't know you're in one? The average person are so blocked. I remember I was doing outreach around certain quarters, and I was on the corner, and there was the jump out crew. They know me very well because I'm one of those guys that's always challenging police officers, and I call them policy enforcers. That's what I call them. I was like, man, get out of here. These young men witnessed me make the police leave, so all of them were in disbelief. They said, how did you do that?
right.
I said, there's different levels of communication. That's what you have to learn.
That's right.
I was like, your understanding only allows you to stay in a specific paradigm of thought. I was like, once you elevate your degree of thinking, which is basically allowing me to help you learn better, because before you can be able to think, you have to be taught how to learn.
That's right. Say something, brother.
Yeah, it's so many levels and everything, right?
That's right.
So these young men, these police, who are you? I said, who are you? You see who I am. I don't see who you are. Unless you make a verbal declaration, I don't know who you are. Halloween, people wear all kinds of uniforms.
You walk with him.
I don't know who you are. Tell me who you are. That's the only way I'm going to know you, right? I had to school this man on law. What happened? This Caucasian man was looking at me, and I know he wanted to shoot me. But it wasn't nothing he could do because my words had him bound. The most powerful thing in life is words.
That's right.
Because it's spoken symbols. I tell people that all the time. A symbol has power of its own in and of itself because it represents. But when it's spoken by a living, breathing, conscious, divine being, it's more power. And this man knew. I showed him no fear. I don't fear you. He saw that I wasn't a nigga. He backed off. The reason why he backed off is because he didn't sense the fear, and he saw somebody that didn't stutter. I was very assertive in what I was saying. He backed off because he didn't sense nigga. Nigga has a scent. It does. It has a scent because they created the smell. They created it so it has a scent. And what they say, they'll see you, oh, he hasn't left the grid. He's one of ours. That one right there, though, we ain't messing with him.
That's right.
And that's what they do. I'm telling you, you can have a clean face. And my face is, I guess, a rebel look. But to a trained eye of the oppressor, you can have a clean face with a fresh shape up. And if you're a revolution, they still smell it on you just because of what you give off.
That's right.
You don't have that weak stature.
That's right.
They still feel it like, hold up, something with this cat.
Right.
They know it. But you can, it's like an elephant in a circus. You can lock him up for so long, you take the chains off, he won't run no more.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of us have become. We became so comfortable in our lack that we attract misfortune. We like it. We love it. We're addicted to poverty.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's in the mind. A lot of scriptures I don't hear Christians talk about too much is be not conformed, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I was like, I could talk for millions of years just on that scripture. Conformity. I asked this person, I said one time, I said, what if you being not conformed, being transformed by the renewing of your mind actually takes you out your belief?
Come on, baby.
What's written in your script can actually separate you from your script. That's what separated me. I'm an avid reader. I've studied almost every known religions. And I said, wait a minute. This sounds like the same story I saw in the room. Wait a minute. Let me study this King James. Let me see who he was. Let me study these first original prints. Oh, he did what? He did what? Oh, how many scholars? Oh, Shakespeare and Francis Bacon. Oh, okay.
What?
Hey, I thought this sounded kind of poetic here. There's something going on. And see, what happens is I tell people when a federal say you want to get a job in a federal agency, they'll go find your elementary teacher, your friend, distant cousin, this and that.
That's right.
Isn't it funny how you go outside, they'll go outside of you to study you.
That's right.
We'll go to the source to study it instead of going outside of it.
That's right.
To see where it originated from. You can't go to the source to study the source. You gotta go outside. You gotta go outside the source. We won't do that. This must be right. How do you know? It's the way I feel. No, that doesn't exist. I told this young man, I spoke I had to do a lecture for the psychology professor at American University, and the white folk, it was a majority white folk, a few Africans here, a few Ethiopians here, a few Eastern Indians here. And after I finished spoken, they were like discombobulated. So I started getting challenges from everywhere. After I finished, instead of, hey, how you doing? It was more so about this, and let's go. So I said, okay, let me get in battle mode. I said, no problem. I like the debate. Let's go. So this science major, he was being very aggressive. So the whole time, you don't know. I mean, a lot of us, though we may be conscious, we still from the street, so we know how to read our opponent.
Right.
So I'm looking him up and down. I said, science is science. Oh, he has a wedding ring. I said, I got it. I said, okay. And you may say, well, how is that relevant to anything? I'm going to explain.
Break it down.
He says, I said, so you're a science major? He said, yes. I said, oh, okay. I said, you married? He said, yeah. I said, so what is your marriage based upon? He said, what do you mean? I said, thank you. I said, you being a scientist, technically, scientifically, love doesn't exist because it cannot be made on any scale. So it does not exist on a material level, so what was the foundation of your relationship? I mean, I guess, and I did that just to see where he was. You know, you saw Star Wars, everybody playing the Force. The Force is strong with this one. You know how it works.
That's right.
And I stumbled on, the reason why I did it is because I had to let him know I'm not one-dimensional. Anywhere you go, I can go.
Right.
You represent my lower self. I have control of you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy. It's easy. Don't ever get it twisted. And I try to explain to people all the time, the power of you accepting you is unmatched because you control everything around you. Everything. Because it's a strength that you cannot hide. Like, I used to watch my mother. And my mom was a house mom. And people at their church used to get so mad at my mother because my father was an ultimate provider. And they go on doing splits and go to work doing this, and they hated her because she was a housewife. My father told me one time, he said, son, always be able to put yourself in a position where you can take the stresses and the worries of the world off your woman. He told me this as a young man. I said, why? He said, because they're the foundation of the house.
That's right.
He was like, when everything's right, they keep the peace in the home.
That's
He was
right.
like, set yourself up, structure yourself. He was like, it's okay for them to do this and do that. He said, but if you can, it makes a better situation.
That's right.
And then, as my understanding progressed in life, as I was making my several transitions, I realized that your transition is based upon what you are ready to accept at that time.
Right.
What may take somebody 10 years may take me 30 minutes. Because I'm ready to accept that level of truth.
That's right.
See what I'm saying?
That's right.
The problem with people is that they're not honest.
Right.
Honesty will separate the real from the fake immediately. Because when you walk in truth, you're walking completely in spirit.
That's right.
And how that's possible is because that when they would say the allegory stories of Yeshua, he would says, it's not me but my Father who sent me.
That's right.
But people worship him. But I'm like, he clearly said in Matthew, does it not say in your scrolls that ye are not gods?
That's right.
Right? This is the stuff so many people skip over, right? We choose, we're selective, we have selective memory.
Right.
This is this, that is that. No, we're just going to talk about this because this is where I'm at in order for me not to get threatened by the government, these gag orders I have. Because the minute I get the 501c3, that means it's open policy. Anybody can come to my church and look at my books.
That's right.
Most people don't know that.
That's right.
Which is the reason why I never got funding from the government. I went to the people.
That's right.
It was drug dealers that sponsored my, when I had my facility. They been put up the money. Man, he real, but what do you do? Come on, I had 3,000 coming from here, 2 here, 5 here. Because you know when you street dudes, and I'm an ex-street dude, you feel like you're paying for your sins, but you hoping somebody doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm doing something funny, like, you know what I mean?
That's right.
So it's like, but at the end of the day, hospital in the right place. Some people feel like they're vile, damn bonds, and I tell them, you can transition. I did. My mom had insurance policy on me when I was 13 years old. Why? Because she thought I would transition on another level. Like, you retarded, you can be killed. You know what I'm saying? But I looked at it, I internalized all the pain, all the suffering. Some of my closest friends being killed from the age of 12 to 20. All this transition is transitions, it got me to this place. And I was like, so I had to change the pain to productive progress in my understanding of my geographical environment, understanding that what's happening in this neighborhood was actually created for me to be in bondage. So now that I've separated myself from that thought, now I can walk on the inside and understand the skill. It's like understanding reading a blueprint. Like everybody can see a blueprint but still not understand it, but you still know what's a blueprint.
That's right.
You can understand it's a blueprint, but you might not quite understand how to read the blueprint.
Right.
When you get a little bit of training and understanding how scale works in art and drawing and how different artwork represented have a numerical pattern and all these different things, line of sight measurements, all this kind of stuff. Like I said, when everything around you will be different. It will become a grid. When you like, if right now in America, they got foreign soldiers. If you notice, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I saw some Canadian soldiers walk around the hood, and nobody paid attention to it. I was like, oh. I said, they're doing recon. I said, they're doing recon in the hood. I've been seeing military going to different places, and I said, they're doing recon. They're about to make a move. I said, it's about to be maritime law here soon. It's going to be martial law. I said, okay, I see it coming. I see Halliburton building these concentration camps for FEMA, and I'm like, hold on, who are they for? I said, okay. I see these moves that's going on, and people are not saying these chess moves.
That's right.
You have to watch these chess moves. A lot of these stage shootings you think that are random, they may not be random as you think. You know, they may not be random as you think. The first thing the father said, if gun laws were harsher, this would not have happened to my son. I said, wow, look at this Hollywood actor. Look at this Hollywood actor getting ready for this martial law movement. That's a transition. You know, it may seem off topic, but that's a transition the average person. We are spoiled in this country.
That's right.
We haven't really been through nothing like these other people have. A country seeing army tanks going up their street and things like that. We're close. They're cloaking you with all the construction, thinking, oh, it's about to be this and that. Oh, they put you in the trick bag. Understand. Understand. They are making moves on your head.
Getting you used to it.
Getting you used to it. I tell people all the time, get your mind right. Because when you're in a situation where you can adapt to change, there's nothing that can happen around you that you won't be able to adapt to.
That's right.
Nothing that can happen. You got some people, like right now, if it were to come on the news, there's a 26-mile mothership hovering over this geographical area. The average religious person may commit suicide. They may have heart failure because their whole belief system was based upon these principles, and now everything is dead. I'm about to die. It's no worth living. The advocacy, and it's things going on that I tell people to prepare yourself for, because a lot of things you didn't believe in are about to be manifested because they can't keep hiding it. A lot of things you think fake, it's actually not fake. A lot of the people you think were real are actually cloned people. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it don't sound no crazy when somebody sitting in the middle of water split in half with a staff.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I said, hold up, you don't believe in extraterrestrials, but you believe people didn't walk through a foot of mud, nothing happened, all these animals walked, swam, and flew from California and everywhere, went to the Middle East to be a part of a flood they had nothing to do with, but I'm crazy. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. But when you sit and really understand what this stuff means, we were engineered people. If you really study how your body works, when you study the different, your body evolves every day. Your brain, like I said, it does not make sense for me to just use 4 to 5% of my brain, and I have all this brain. So the transformation is already in process. It's actually happening, but you're not conscious enough to read it. It's no different from when you go to the movies. For a millisecond, they'll flash popcorn or soda, but they sell it to your subconscious. You don't see it with your naked eye, but they implant it in you, like you were talking about when you was in front of the TV. You felt these messages going into your body. I was a truck driver and I had a clearance, and I lost my clearance for the work I do in the community. Go figure. One of my stops was Raytheon, and I got a rapport with this Asian kid, super smart, just He one of them type that's so smart, he'd be walking and probably can figure out his foot-pound pressure, just put on applying on his shoe, just extra smart, you know what I'm saying? And one day after 3 years of me knowing him, he followed me back out to my truck. He said, what type of appliance you have in house? I said, what you mean? He said, you got cable? I said, yeah. He said, you have the cable box and the light? I said, yeah. He said, oh. He said, you have flat screen? I said, yeah. He said, you notice even when you cut off, the red light stay on? I said, yeah. He said, unplug everything. He said, oh, things since 2004 has cameras in it. He said, they can type in the code and look at you, hear everything. He said, you know how I know? I said, how? He said, I make it. He said, have a good day. And he walked off. And I was like, I know he's telling the truth. Because I always felt like that's on somebody's watching me. You know what I'm saying? So I got to the point, I stopped throwing blankets over my TV and everything. I'm having a serious conversation. I leave my phone in the car. It's really that serious.
That's right.
Because even on the level of street guys, I've had friends who got caught on cases who took their battery out their phone and still were heard. Yeah. This whole cash for gold scheme.
Yes.
Don't do it. They run a game because soon the dollar was not, it's already fictitious, it's already fiat. But Hungary has already gotten rid of Rothschild's money and they have their own non-debt currency. Now, when this information begins to trickle around the world, it's going to be a problem, which is the reason why they're setting up for these events. Right now, what's happening all around you. The money structure is changing. The New World Order is commencing. You know, this Treaty of Verona, this Rome that we live in, that we call the United States. The 3 stars on the Washington, D.C. flag represents Washington, D.C., England, and Rome. You know what I'm saying? It's symbols all around us, but we don't understand them. We understand red light, green light to a certain extent. Everybody's a prophet. People have to understand that because you can't stop at a light unless you saw it.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But we make prophecy so deep. It's not deep, it's just understanding. You know what, that brother ain't gonna make it to Friday. Why you say that? Because he just did something to somebody that ain't gonna let him make it to Friday. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's not like something that's that deep. It's understanding of what is.
That's right.
When you have understanding of what is, it makes you live a little bit more smooth and even in a chaotic situation. And one more thing with transformation. One of my favorite insects is a bee. The reason why I like the bee, because if they were to go extinct, everything would die. They will literally throw the whole ecosystem off. Something that small, something that could be hiding in this room right now and you don't even see, but he has that much power to sustain life on this planet. And I like the bee because they communicate on a structured level. Everybody can't talk to everybody. Everybody have their own lane, just like the ant. They have their own frequency that they exist on. A German bee will not be able to communicate with an African bee because they have different frequencies that they exist on. So when he sends a message to go pollinate here, he will go to a different place because the understanding is different based upon their geographical origin. One of the reasons why we're so sick in this country because we don't eat indigenously. People don't understand every living thing has its cultural food, even when it comes down to information and knowledge. Certain things, it's almost like, who ever seen Transformers? When I watch movies, I ain't watching them to be entertained. I'm watching them because I like to see the jewels that they're dropping. Because a lot of these movie makers are privy to certain government information, and that's how they disclose information when you think they just talk the trash. They actually let the public know it exists, they put it in movie form. But they actually drop the jewels and you let you know, no, this is real. The concept of the allspark, any intelligent organic matter that touches it, it creates life. It's actually not creating life, it's creating something from existence that's already living. Like, think about it, Genesis. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. I said, hold up. The Spirit of God moved upon the faces of waters. It never talks about the creation of waters, so they said that created for something that was already living. I said, I said, so the foundation of everything is water. This sounds like sexual intercourse. Wait a minute, let me read this properly.
Wait a minute. we're recording this thing.
Look at your body. Your sperm is in the form of a tadpole. Your sperm is in the form of a tadpole, just like plant life. Most people don't know we share 50% genetics with plants. And cabbage, sunflower, we're more directly connected to plant life than we are mammals. So you basically an uprooted plant with intelligence. Right? The first thing you see a sick dog eat, what do you go eat? Grass. He has enough intellect, his genetic understanding lets him know, I'm sick, let me eat some grass.
That's right.
He has enough conscious ability to still be in alignment with his foundational genetic understanding, the way he was engineered. I'm sick, let me eat this grass. Now nowadays, if you eat the wrong grass because everything is so modified, you know what I'm saying, he still might die.
Right.
You know, he has to be careful what grass he eats from. But he gonna hunt. Okay, this grass been here for years. Let me go on Muriel's backyard. Because grandma had this good grass for years. She had no sod, ain't nothing engineered. This is old grandma grass. This is anointed grass. You go in that backyard to get that saved grass. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother, she was knowing everything. She was we was young. My mother knowing all my friends. She going to touch all the drug dealers. Everything. Just deal with it, bro. We know that's moms. You know what I'm saying? She would make everybody be saying, this is her. That's how she go. So, I was saying that to say, you can literally be re-engineered by what you put in your body. Your thought processes, everything. So our foundation has not only been shaken since Alexander went into Kemet, but even from that point on, we have been hunted down to be destroyed just so we won't know or be informed about ourselves. To think about how great that is. Because this lady asked me one time, she said, how does racism affect you? I said, it don't.
That's right.
She said, why? I said, because I'm not inferior.
That's right.
I said, it affects an inferior-minded person.
That's right.
I was like, you're not on my level, so stop acting like you are. Everything that you ever done has been stolen, so come on, cut that out. You're not talking to a nigga.
That's right.
And it's like, what happens is, people understand words. Again, racist, the IST is a suffix that makes proficiency. If I'm great at playing the piano, they'll call me a pianist.
That's right.
If I'm some crap, that's just the dude that's on the piano.
That's right.
Right? That makes me proficient. I am racist because I love my race. Now let's talk about prejudice. That's something different. I said, see, because I love myself, I can't hate you. So racism is your problem, not mine. I'm not going to allow your problem to be my problem because you have a self-deficiency.
That's right.
So racism is admiration disguised with hate.
That's right.
You want to be me. When you remember that girl that had a crush on you, or the dude that had a crush on you, because he did not have the vocabulary to try to get with you with his understanding or using the English language. It's an incomplete Germanic language that we call English. But he'll push you down. She'll start a fight with you because he know I said, I like you, I won't be with you. I won't be with you. He'll swing, I hate this thing, but you love me. But because you don't have an understanding of what you are, how to utilize yourself, everything's come up by birth and violence. Hence our little brother that's lost. You see what I'm saying? So it comes up, I hate you. In the back of your mind, God, I wish I had a body. I wish I could style my hair like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lack inside yourself. So I'm saying that to say, when you change yourself from the inside, everything around you has to change. A person asked me, how would you, this young man asked me, he said, how would you annihilate a man? I said, I don't know if I should tell you that. He said, no, I just want to know, I'm interested because you always talk about chess and mental this and that. I said, well, I would destroy him at his strength. He said, why? That's why he's strong. I said, most men don't train their strength. I said, you only train your weakness.
That's right.
I said, so when I annihilate you at your strength, you have nothing to fall back on but your weakness, which will annihilate you. And that's what we are. Because see, something that's strong to you may be weak to me. I'm strong here, but I'm like, brother, I mastered that, and that's not even on my level. Like, I used to fight. I was a 2004 Olympic trial finalist. And it was a young kid who would always fight on the street, always fought. He was like, man, I'm trying to get in there and see y'all. I said, sure, it's a little different. No, I'm good. And he was a knockout artist on the street. He really was a street fighter. I said, it's a different level in here. I'm trying to get in there. I said, all right. So my trainer let him come spar. He made him sign a waiver because he just wanted to get in the ring. He said, sign here because we ain't liable for anything happening. I'm good. He got in the ring, and he didn't understand psychologically when you have a venue, it's different from fighting in the street. A venue will affect you mentally different. I think one of the biggest fears of man, what is the fear of falling, the fear of loud noise, and the fear of speaking in front of a crowd. So when you're actually in a place where people are watching your every move, your foot movement, your head movement, your ability to think, that alone could take your breath from you. I've seen men that were in great physical shape, but because they did not know how to utilize their mind, they would get tired quick because of what they were dealing with at the specific venue. The nervous energy will cut you physically, right?
That's right.
So this kid got in the ring with a very, very sharp kid. But I told this kid that was very, very sharp with his hands, I said, take it easy on him because he's outside his lane and he don't know it. So he got in the ring, this kid throwing haymakers and closing his eyes, throwing punches. And my friend is looking at him and slipping punches, looking at him, can't touch him. He's like, what are you doing? He can't even fight. On the street, this guy's a beast. He knocks everything out. This guy in the ring viewed him like, this dude can't even fight, he can't even touch me. So my trainer was like, look, you about to, my trainer said, you about to spar with this other fighter, go in this.
Right.
So the kid stepped over, what about you? Boom! It was over. The boy rolled over and was in the ring for about 4 or 5 minutes. Could not breathe. What that kid found out right there, that was different levels, like we just talked about.
Right.
It's different levels. Where you think you are strong, somebody else could be stronger.
Right.
Which means that when you can control your mindset, it doesn't matter the situation, you'll have the ability to think your way through it.
That's right.
And that's truly divine transformation when your mindset can stage any situation and change it for you. And we all have that ability.
That's right.
We all have that ability. So with that being said, I'm done. Any questions? I'm right here. It's been a pleasure. Shoot some stuff out, converse. Let's do it for a few minutes.
I remember you said something about the chemical processes of the brain. A lot of times I've learned through meditating about the chemical processes of the brain, how the brain responds to neurological. The neurological connection in your brain responds to different chemicals in the atmosphere. It sends off electricity in the brain.
Right.
It touches the adrenaline point somewhere or a different gland that send off chemicals through the body.
Right.
So I want to learn and put together something to teach children from an early age. So that way they know their body, they know who they are, and they're able to develop faster, because the first thing they teach us as a child is to focus on everything outside yourself.
That's
right.
right.
I just
focus on everything outside yourself.
I said.
But
they
then when
teach
you get older,
disadvantages and not your advantages.
yeah, when you get older, they want you to be this productive citizen of society.
Right.
How the hell can a child be a productive citizen
When
of
they train you
society?
to be unproductive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, because I was one of those children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just now learning about myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've been going since I was 17.
Right.
16 was when I first started getting introduced to Illuminati, was a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
I turned 17, I just randomly had the thought one day, damn, it's all this negative shit, it gotta be something positive.
Right.
So I started getting into meditation, yoga,
Right.
and I was looking at Buddhism, Hinduism, I was just...
But you was on your journey.
Yeah.
You went through several transitions, and one thing I try to tell people a lot, don't ever look at the number of years that you've been on this planet.
I don't mean...
Because I tell people time really don't exist. It's only what you create.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, when you... no, because it's really true. Because you can look at somebody like Bernard Hopkins, a 50-year-old fighter who whipped 27-year-olds. His perception of himself, he has so much... I tell... my mom asked me, do I have faith? I said, no. She said, why? How you make it? I said, Mom, do you believe God exists? She said, yeah. I said, do you know? She said, yeah. I said, so what you need faith for?
That's right.
I said, technically, faith is still a form of doubt. You lose a dog, I still have faith in you. You see what I'm saying? But when you have I know, I tell people I have I know. Because that's the next level of faith. You have to everything has a transcending point. I went from faith to I know, right? And that I know assures me on so many different levels. Because, okay, for instance, I had a best friend who got killed at a very early age. Him and I knew each other so well that we were supposed to meet in a specific area, and he wasn't there. And never in our time of us knowing each other was he ever late for anything. So I immediately felt something in my stomach. So I went to go look for him. In the midst of me looking for him, I hear these shots. God, 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 God. So I started running. You know, niggas, we run too dangerous. So I started running. You know what I'm saying? We were like deers, everybody run too dangerous. And my friend is bleeding out the mouth. He's on the ground about to die. And I grab him. And he's trying to say something to me. And I'm watching his life leave his body. I still got his image to my brain to this day. I'm watching him trying to say something to me, spilling blood, and he dies right there. And when he died, I felt his energy. I literally felt him die. I felt his spirit lift, right? And I'm bringing that up to say this. I knew him so well that I knew something was wrong when he wasn't on time. See what I'm saying? That's not faith. That's something you know. When we can get to that I know factor, that's so much powerful. It's so much power in I know. But the world will always have you second guess your ability. Don't second guess your ability. If you know you got it, don't question it. Walk in it. Be strong in it.
Yeah, my brother. Everything you said has been a grand confirmation to things that I've been doing, especially trying to get brothers know that we all can be successful.
Yes, sir.
You know, and you touched on a lot of great information, but keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. That's definitely been a pleasure. And, go ahead.
I just have a general question. Are you familiar with David Wood Miller, syntax writing?
Syntax writing, I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Please enlighten me.
Well, I just came across it recently, so I'm not an expert, but talks about how the contracts and everything that have been written are not factual.
Right.
It's because it's not in the proper syntax, and he has a full technology on how you can analyze what you have and send it back to him, and it's null and void. So I was just, because you made an analogy about 1 + 1 is 2, or whatever you said.
Right.
And then you can validate that scenario by saying 2 - 1 is 1.
Right.
Right. So that type of analogy can be applied to words.
Of course.
And there's a calculation there, and he's figured it out. So you said a couple of things that made me think that, well, maybe he knows about David Wood Miller.
But the thing about information, the thing about knowledge, is always going to be relative to someone who's conscious. It's like it's some of the stuff, some of the most grandest things I read in the Bible, because I study everything. It said you try the spirit by the spirit. That basically meaning that certain conscious people all exist on a certain vibration.
That's right.
So the information that he knows, somebody else that's on that frequency knows it as well. So though I may not directly articulate it the way he do, I do understand that concept because I'm a person that like to break codes. I love to break codes. Did you ever see the movie The Beautiful Mind?
Yes.
Heavy movie. Heavy movie. Or who saw the movie K-Pax?
Yes.
One of my favorite parts of the movie. First, let me give you a quick synopsis of this movie. It was a guy who was in a mental hospital for mentally disabled. He said he was from another planet. So of course, the natural people gonna think you're crazy.
Yeah.
So his shrink said, "Well, where are you from?" He said, "Well, I can show you." He said, "What you mean?" So he drew a map of the star constellation the way he said where he was from. So this interested the shrink, so he called his friend from NASA. I was like, this dude just drew something that's baffling me. I'm gonna fax it to you. So after he faxed it to him, the NASA scientist typed it in the network and found out it actually existed in the solar system. He said, bring him here immediately. So they snuck him out. They got him to the observatory. He said, how do you know this information? This is only information based on our scientific astronomers. He said, well, where I'm from, this is basic information.
That's right.
No, let me tell you why that was deep to me. This country puts everybody in a specific position that gets you sharp in that specific position to make you feel like you have a position. You see what I'm saying? But you really don't have one. You really don't have one. You just another glitch in the daggone matrix.
That's right.
It's somebody over there, like me. I've never been to college a day in my life, but I'm an avid reader. Your professor, you pay thousands of dollars to go to this school. My energy attracted this professor's energy, and I might have met him in Glut.
That's right.
I might have met him in a store. We build a relationship. You spend thousands of dollars for your education, and we trading books. We're doing this and doing that. The same information you have, I have. I don't have to specifically make money in that lane, but I can be just as or more intellectual than you in that specific field. So I tell people, don't put yourself in bondage thinking you have to be in a specific field to know the information. It don't benefit me. You never know, you might be in a situation where it might benefit you. So it's important to just get knowledge in general just because.
Yeah, and what else I want to say, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, when you really don't know something, really ask. Like he said, like, for instance, he said something about red, like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
He was something where, you know, red represents stop. Well, if you don't understand what that means, ask questions. Like, because we really want you to make the connections. Because if I say red and then you can make a connection, you can say, oh, he keeps saying red, stop. Then how you make a connection, you can say, when you riding down the street, you can say, dang, all these McDonald's are red. All these Pizza Huts are red. Stop.
Go in there.
What they say is how they make a connection with the signs and the symbols and the words and how they're making these connections. You don't even understand what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? You have to make these connections. And that's the problem. We're not connecting because everything we believe in, we all are all the way out here. We have to get grounded and make everything simple.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I was telling you, I can give you an example is a friend of mine was saying me, man, I'm walking on eggshells around my uncle. My uncle get ready to put me out. He's saying that in one breath, but then he's saying in another breath, yeah, man, I got this girlfriend, and she keep telling me, cause I went and picked him up from work one night, 12 o'clock. She keep telling me I could drive her car and stuff, and then telling me to come over here. And I'm listening to him. I'm saying, brother, are you really making connections, or are you seeing what's going on? So I said, let me give you an example. So I went on to the whole example about the woman sitting on the roof. You know what I mean? When the boat
Oh yeah, right.
And
God ain't
God, you go ahead. I'm waiting on God. You go ahead. So the water kept rising. So the next person came past, and she said the same thing. I'm waiting on God.
Okay.
So then the next person, I'm trying to just make it short. So she the next thing, I'm waiting on God. So she, she died with that. And God said, but I sent these people. So what I'm saying is we have to learn how to make these connections that these people are coming in our lives for certain reasons. I said, what you gonna wait? This girl is trying to give you a plate. But you gonna wait until the water get all the way up here and drown. And you're not really paying attention to connections because you end up living on the streets and you still not making a connection because what you fail to realize, everybody around you is a reflection of you. Now you got a friend that what happened to him when he had to live in the street? He had frostbite. And he ended up having the top of his fingers cut off. Wow. You see what I'm saying? So everything is a lesson. And what I'm trying to teach everybody, we have to learn how to make these connections. We have to get grounded. That's what he's talking about, superconductors. That's why we're in the house and you shot me. Right. We have to get grounded because it's a currency. You have to ground that currency and understand that all this stuff is not so mystical. Everything is just something we just need to come home. We just need to get back home. So all I'm saying is, please, when you don't understand, please stop. Please ask the questions. Please ask. You understand what I'm saying? Just do that.
I appreciate it, bro. And definitely be life or death, and asking questions. And sometimes, and what you were saying about the connectivity, I remember I was a kid that was just a person that wanted to know everything. So one time I was out back at a house, and I was watching this tree, and I saw the leaf over time do like this. And I said, oh, the leaf is coming up. Then it was sunny. 45 minutes later, it started raining.
Oh.
I said, he's catching the rain. Everything on this planet is aligned but us. We have to choose to be aligned.
That's right.
Everybody is on that structure. Like, okay, let me go ahead and cup up. Because I saw a groundhog out early, and he was very, very fat. And you usually don't see them like that in August, September. I said, it's going to be another tough winter. Because he's preparing himself now. Because when the earthquake came a couple years ago, my friend that worked in the zoo told me all the monkeys, all the penguins, they cuddled together.
Wow.
10 minutes before it happened. They said all of them got together. They said the animals started going crazy. They felt the vibration.
Yeah.
We drive and we don't feel nothing. I'm telling you, we have that ability.
That's right.
My mother told me one time, she said, baby, I know you don't like to listen. She said, but the spirit told me that don't go to school today. I was like, Mom, I go to school every day, so it really don't matter. She said, but you was going today. And I was. And sure enough, about 7 people got hit up. The way I go. And I think it was for me. But she felt that energy. She knew. And I explained to her, I used to always, I tell people, I was like, a lot of gifts you have that you associate with your belief, you were naturally born with.
That's right.
But you only know how to associate it through a specific perspective.
That's right.
I'm like, no, that's your gift. That's yours. Because anything that sometimes is outside of someone's belief, they consider it demonic. I'm like, but your Bible say gifts coming out repentance, so how could you say that? Hello? So I'm like, or other sheep I had out of none of this fold. Or Ezekiel talking about his spaceship friends. People won't skip verse 1, chapter 15 to 21. With animals being abducted, things of that nature. We are scared to deal with these things because it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. We used to read, cherry pie, apple, pie in the sky. We don't want to talk about the real variables. Like, we're looking for God, we're looking for aliens, but if you just would look inside yourself, all your answers that you're looking for is in your genetics.
That's right.
It's written inside of you, the mapping for everything. Because I tell people all the time, when you see the elongated heads in Africa, and you look at some of these images of some of these beings that they found, we might be freaking alien. You just know how because we are made out of star material.
That's right.
And when you really get the understanding of what you made out of, it can really be scary.
You were saying something about the long in the head, and you made me think about this documentary I was watching. It was more like a video, but it was speaking about the story of Yakub, basically.
Yeah.
And it was saying that the race of people that he came from was from these big-headed people, and it said that he was mixed with a group of long-headed people.
Right, that's true.
And a lot of the pictures that they showed, they look like, most of them look like us. My head is literally shaped like how Yakub head was shaped, it's just small.
Are you familiar with Bill Cooper?
Huh?
Are you familiar with Behold the Pale Horse?
Yes.
I'm familiar with it. I never read it.
He was a Caucasian man, and he was killed because of the information that he released. He was a naval intelligence officer, and he was talking about how they were going to create HIV for our culture and the Latino people. He was talking about them working beside extraterrestrial people who were teaching them technology. And he was teaching this stuff, and they killed him flat out. And there was another man named Phil Schneider. You can look up Phil Schneider. He was a top secret geologist, Phil Schneider. And if you look him up, make sure you're not logged in under your name. When you look him up, seriously. He was killed because he talked about how the periodic table are changing with metals. Because he was on an assignment in Dos, Mexico, where he said they confronted the reptilian people in the mountains. He said the government knew they existed there, but they did not warn them. He said they knew how to use their energy. Like the energy we have, they know how to use it. He said he did like this, and a beam of light came from his body and just knocked his fingers off. He showed his fingers; they were severed with the next level heat, right? And he was like, "You have some that are good and some that are evil, you know." But he was like, "They exist." He said, "They don't want people to tell you." He said, "But they're among you every day, walk around you, and you think." The Prime Minister of Russia, you can look this up on YouTube. He did an interview, and somebody had a camera phone on him after they cut the broadcasting cameras off. And the interviewer said, "So this alien stuff, real? You being the Minister of Defense?" He does like this. He said, "You seen the movie MIB?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's real."
What movie?
He said they have no landing bases, this and that, da, 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 da. He did not know he was being recorded. They might have thrown it off YouTube by now. But a lot of stuff they keep on YouTube, and they'll get debunkers to come on there. You know what I'm saying? But it's really getting serious. It's really getting serious. It's really getting serious. It's really time to be conscious, because when things change, you're gonna have to have an adaptable brain. Because if you don't, you're gonna be a mess. Literally. Literally.
Like this, places like this.
Yeah, that's what concentrating camps for. Say it
My
again.
whole family think I'm crazy. Friends, a lot of my friends.
Most of the greatest people in the world, they thought we're crazy. You can't be sane and invent stuff. You gotta be insane to be sane. You can't even be sane to be sane. You have to really step outside the box. But then that's debatable. What is sane?
No propaganda.
Yeah.
Accept the propaganda.
What is sane?
You're a genius, you know.
Yeah. He's crazy. But why? He's on a different vibration. Because let me tell you, I always, people be like, well, he's on the PCP, he's hallucinating. I said, who says he is? What if they unlocked the part of his brain and he wasn't ready to see? What if these things do exist that he's seeing and you think he's tripping? Because I was like, actually, he's creating a situation in the atmosphere in his brain that he did not induce himself. So he's in fear because it was not a due process to get to that level to see these beings. So I said, so who says it cannot be real? Because if it's a hallucination, where did the hallucination come from? If you never saw before. I always found it funny that in your sleep state, your brain functions more than when you're conscious. Why is that? I'm not even conscious, and your brain has more electrical activity when it's sleep than you are when you're awake, and that's scientific fact.
You're an electrician, right? You know when the currents relax, it helps the current flow better. When your body relaxes, it helps the currents in your body flow better.
That's why they call it in the morning break fast, because when you sleep is considered your fasting because your body's healthy. You're breaking your fast when you eat. Yes, ma'am.
Since you deal with young people, I'm wondering, what would be the first thing you would tell instruct a young person who you know is searching, but it's something about the information coming from a female that they don't get the connection.
It's male you're talking to.
My nephews,
Yeah, a lot of
young
us have a
folks.
hard time getting it from females, but when another male comes through.
And these are young men who were raised by single moms,
Right.
but they can't hear a female.
Okay, I can explain that really quickly for the sake of time. Most young men, the first relationship a man has with a woman is his mother. A lot of young men, because the woman sometimes have to be the man and the female, a lot of times the kid does not understand the nurturing side of a woman because it's sometimes so combative of her trying to raise him as a man. So sometimes he does not know the nurturing part of a woman to be able to bond on that level.
Right.
So that being said, a man really cannot accept a woman until the man teaches him how important the woman is. So he does not know the importance of woman because he wasn't taught by a man to teach him how great a woman is. You see what I'm saying? He does not know. So sometimes you ain't been through nothing, this and that, da, 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 da. Well, actually, you know, during slavery, they beat the pregnant woman, pregnant belly, because they felt the baby would come out submissive. So y'all had to go through just as much hell as we did when they were breeding us like dogs. So a lot of this mentality has been through the years that has been created. People don't understand. You can actually transfer your thoughts through your children. You really can. The Bible calls it, people call it generational curses and all that, but it's actually in your DNA. That's bullcrap. You can give misfortune. So a lot of times that's just a change of mindset. When I work with a lot of the young people, this lady asked me, "Why don't you knock these kids from getting high?" I said, "Because they're seeking." She said, "What you mean?" Because I get a high result of kids getting off drugs. I said, "The reason why is I don't beat their head in, because they used to get their head beat in." I said, "Kudos, I know you're looking for God, but you're using an accelerator." See, you're searching, and you know this is the way you can go to a deeper place in mind. So to me, that's a good thing. So what I'll do, I'll complement that. And me teaching them to separate from it, I'll compliment it first, because that's letting me know it's something deeper than where you are. You see what I'm saying? So you're using drugs, why? Because it takes you to a different mental place. So a person hasn't gotten to the point where they can accelerate themselves. They need an additive to get them to that level. I asked this kid one time, he was going to the liquor store. I said, "Why you used to get alcohol?" He said, "Man, I'm trying to get effed up." I said, "Oh, he was just flat out." I said, "All right, cool." I said, "You consciously walk to the liquor store to consciously get the alcohol." I said, "Because you consciously believe in what it can do when you drink it." He said, "Yeah." I said, "So is it alcohol getting you drunk?" I'm going to say it again.
Nice.
You consciously walk to the store to consciously buy it because this substance that you're drinking has been marketed that it gets you to a certain level. So you believe in it before you drink it. So is the alcohol getting you drunk, or is it your mind? It's your mind. You're giving it power. I don't know if you heard the story about this doctor. This guy was in a lot of pain. He said, "Man, nothing's working." He said, "You know what? I'm gonna give you the strongest thing I have, and this is a little bit much, but I'm gonna give it to you. I don't want to get in trouble for giving it to you, but I'm gonna give it to you." He said, "Doc, please do it for me." He gave it to him. Came back, checked on the guy 20 minutes later. He said, "How you feel, man? Whatever you gave me, woo!" Gave him a water pill.
Mine. I want a pink pill.
It's mine. He believed that, look, this is the most powerful thing I got. I can get in trouble for it. He received it. And his own transmissions of his brain be able to start healing himself, because that's what he accepted for help at that time. No different from these kids. I'm about to come to you, bro. No different from these kids. This psychology professor tested the students. He said, "I want to see how fast y'all get drunks. So all the kids over 18, I'm going to give y'all some alcohol, and we're going to do a study." So he gave them what they thought was alcohol. In an hour, they falling out. "Hey, dude, I'm so tasted," and all that. He gave them some type of seltzer water. Not a bit of alcohol, but all of them took on that act, and all of them became drunk. So you can make yourself do whatever you want to do. When you go to Hollywood, these people read a script. Think about this. They read a script. You can't tell me Denzel did not actually transform into Malcolm X. He turned into Malcolm. Jamie Foxx turned into Ray Charles. He read it, internalized it, watched them, and he literally turned into this person. Imagine if we would have read our scripts and walk in our calling. The power. He made you believe he was Ray. He made you believe he was Malcolm. I mean, I forgot I was watching Denzel when I watched Malcolm. I said, "Man, that's Malcolm, not Denzel." And Ray, that was just amazing. He said, "I actually became him." That was Jamie Foxx's words. That was Denzel's words. I actually became him. I studied him. So if studying words and studying action can manifest, guys, what can't you do?
Beyonce said.
Look, Sasha Fierce. If you look at Hollywood, the Hollywood concept is a magician uses the wood from a holly tree to make his wand. So that's where the term Hollywood came from, right? So illusory, magicianry, right? So if I tell the youth all the time, I said the streets are so real you can fake the streets and still get killed. You know what I'm saying? That's how real it is. You can be a fake OG and get mistakenly identified. That's my victim right now. The whole time you a little church boy. Ain't never did nothing in your life, but the image attracted that energy to you. So imagine, hold up, if acting can produce a situation of realness where it can feel so real that we go to movies and we cry. We get these emotions. I know guys who became boxers watching Rocky. So much stuff that people affect. Everybody wanted to be Sugar Ray Leonard from DC back in the day. If this can affect me to change my life, what if I invested all that into myself? Where would I really be? There's no reason why we shouldn't be levitating.
That's
breaking down that molecular structure, walking through wall. We shouldn't have to need a passport to go to Africa.
That's right.
We should be like, I see y'all in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and bang out. You know what I'm saying? They show it in Star Trek, but they have the technology to do it. But I don't know if y'all saw The Watchmen. Y'all have to watch The Watchmen. Look up Watchmen on Netflix. Dr. Manhattan. He could break down this molecular structure, walk through walls. He was a geophysicist who got destroyed in one of his own inventions, and it broke him down. He was so smart that he brought his molecular structure back together after he was totally destroyed. All his atoms, molecules, he brought it back together and reformed himself, and he was pure energy. So he can model himself. He can make 3, 4, 5 hymns. He can make himself as tall or strong, totally cut. He can travel to space and breathe in their environment. Once he broke himself down to nothing and restructured himself. Think about what that's saying.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the ancestors.
Yeah, you feel me? Think about that. When you break yourself all the way down and strip yourself and unlearn all the bull crap that you've been taught and just come back and restructure yourself, you will be an undefeatable entity because at that point you're one with everything. Everything. Dr. Doolittle, people think that movie is just so stupid. He was eating and he heard bread. He was like, no, I don't want no bread. The pigeons, he heard the pigeon talking. When you really align yourself, my best friend got killed. This cat, a cat followed me for 7 days. And I knew it was him.
That's right.
I knew it was. It followed me everywhere I went. After he died, that cat followed me. And what did I do? I studied the history of cats. I said, oh. They said they can walk in the spirit and the natural at one time. They're protecting your souls in the afterlife. I mean, so much stuff. I mean, it's just so much, man, that you can do that. And Constantine, he went into the spirit world holding the cat. He said the cats walk in and out. They half in, half out at all times. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, man. It's just so many doorways. But I'm gonna tell you that reconstruction, because if you look downtown, there's a lot of construction going on. They didn't do that when Burry was here. Why? Because Burry was for us.
That's right.
So now, of course, the city gonna turn into a toll city.
Yeah.
Because once they de-blacking, did more,
Right.
they got plans to put $1 million townhomes on Anacostia Park. I grew up in Trinidad. When I saw a Caucasian woman walking her dog on Montello Avenue, I was like, what the? You know, we was on all that. Jesus was black, everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Go Road visiting some of my youth. Jogging up 16th Street. And they'll rob me and you first. But Becky,
No, they don't.
and they're going to walk through. Why? Because they know they get more time.
That's right.
Oh, I'll get more time, bro. I'm going to kill him because that's less time. And they actually did a study to show that even in law, the charges are more severe if dealing with anything Caucasian versus us. So we're trained to kill each other. They actually have you trained. It's so easily to kill you. And because you view them, all the angels are white, the Michelangelos, Jesuses were white and feminine, everything associated with a God being. Even right now, and Tony Broder will tell you this, they are painting Egypt white right now. They're still doing what Alexander and what's the little short insecure little dude, Napoleon. blowing noses off. And if you ever really read a lot of declassified information about with the Haitians, he said it was spears, arrows coming at us, and we didn't see people. If you read, there was this straight spiritual warfare. A lot of stuff that you think fake. You get some of them old sisters in the villages. They come out, get to shaking them, baby. You better get out their way.
That's right.
They coming with that power. It's not a game. It's just there was these white Christian crusaders. I forgot what part of Africa. So I have a lot of African friends. And this old elder told me. He said they were just white and everything in their village. He said so what they of course called a witch doctor. The priest of the village came to them. He said if you don't leave, he said I'm going to raise the dead and I'm going to make you leave. So they laughed at him. He said, oh, okay. They didn't leave. So the next night, they said they reported an earthquake. And he said, them people saw these people coming out the ground and made them leave. And he was like, they never came back. They never been to Africa since. And the white man will tell you this. He was like, he never seen nothing like it. See, that's the source of all life, Africa. So with secrets and things that we don't know, and see, like I said, they're studying in Africa to study you. How can we break these people down? You can't. Now we're becoming immune to AIDS. We're actually building up a resistance to it. Like it's nothing. And what people don't realize, think about this. If HIV is an immune deficient disorder, you can get AIDS from, that means you can get AIDS from not just HIV if it's breaking down your immune system. And think about that. A French scientist came out there with it, they want to kill her. He told people you can get it from the swine flu, this and that, this and that, this and that. Watch this.
It's all a part of the virus.
That's right, it's all a virus. A virus is a virus. Your mind kills you. The minute you accept it, I tell people you will kill yourself. You will kill yourself. I've seen people, I hope the young lady get rid of it. It's real, you can get rid of it. Anything in your body, I tell people to mentally look at it in your mind and begin destroying it with your thoughts.
That's right.
It sounds crazy, it's not crazy. You can do it. I'm telling you, your mind, this thing right here, think about it. Why do you think all your food is refined? Why do you think it's fast foods on every corner? A carry out. That's how they formulate your thoughts. They want to break down your electrical messaging system in your body. They don't want you to react. Why is it that people are dying from liver issues and they don't even drink?
Right.
Too much sugar in their diet. The body can't filter it and break it down as it's starting to store it up. Because see, your liver and your kidneys, it dumps its waste back into your colon. So when you are not regular, it becomes backed up and you start getting kidney and liver disease. And you kill yourself with the food. And it affects your brain because your brain has to send messages to your body to let you know what it's supposed to do. So if I can mess up your wiring, because people don't know, your body don't need food. Your body just needs energy.
That's right.
Which is the reason why you defecate.
That's right.
Your body just needs the nutrient, electrolyte, and the mineral. Everything else is made waste. That being said, when you look at your teeth, you see your teeth were meant for grinding, not for tearing flesh. So your teeth are going to match the enzymes and the acidics of your stomach. So your body are not really made to break down flesh. And it will decay in your system, and your intestines are 12 to 14 times your height. So you can have meat in you for a certain amount of years. And then when you begin to get a stomach, you can get tears in your intestines, and you can have bile flowing in your blood. So when you see a lot of time people ankles all swole, that's feces.
That's right.
It's defecation. It's backed up bile and toxins that has went down and traveled in your body from the blood. That's why when you do detox, when people say, I'm in a 30-day detox, there is no such thing. Don't let these people trick you. A real detox can take a year or two, to be honest with you. A real detox can take 6 months, a year, to 2 years, depending how toxic you are. I tell people you didn't get fat fast, you ain't get skinny fast. You didn't get sick fast, you ain't gonna get well fast. You can feel better, but your body still has to go through a healing period. Like I tell people with cancer, HIV, anything, if you change your diet and your mindset, you can get rid of anything.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what it is, you can beat it. People die because they are defeated mentally.
That's right.
When you are defeated, you become physically defeated. Point blank period. So it's like you become a prisoner of war in your own system. When you come, when you really eat, what happens is, let me tell you this right quick, so before we go. If you're living, why don't you eat things that are living?
That's right.
That's all you should be eating. Why do you put these lotions and smell goods on your body if you can't eat it? Nothing should go on your skin that you can't eat.
That's right.
Because your body eats. Your skin eats. It absorbs. And you put stuff on it that you cannot consume that can create cancer.
That's right.
Suntan lotion. Wear this. No, the chemicals in it will give you cancer.
That's right.
We already got it, but our immunity destroys it on a daily basis. It takes 800 million cells to calcify. And that's usually due to environment or a bad diet. I mean, we fight chemtrails, we fight antennas, everything. They dropping spores all over you. They put stuff out there so the doctor can make money. I studied research in Florida. The Navy put out the whooping cough in 1989 in Florida. Had all the people sick. Everybody was flooding the hospitals. It's money. It's big. The street drugs trade is a multi-billion-dollar business. Pharmaceuticals, multi-trillion.
I made 100 and something billion. CBS and this now ain't talking more.
Just them alone. Just them.
100 and something $billion this year, last year.
Guess how many doctors and people killed in the last 12 years?
I got this reference. Say something about pharmaceutical companies.
You want to know the
I
number?
thought about something.
In 12 years, 870,000 people for bad medicine. Yes, sir.
I thought about something. I started looking at the letter P. And I was like, pharmaceutical. They put the letter P and H together and make you have the F sign. So I realized if you take the letter P and you cut a slit, put it right there, it look like an F. Just move the H. You know, you put it in front of the farm. Right. Pharmaceutical, farm. So your food is supposed to be medicine.
pH, potential hydration.
That's right.
I like pharmaceutical farm. That's where they grow your food at.
Yeah.
At farms.
But they got their own genetic farms, and it's destroying you.
Yeah.
Because your body can't even read that mess. And I'm gonna tell you this real quick. A lot of the pills you take, you defecate them out before they even get into your blood. So trust me, it's a mental trick. I have a headache, let me take this pill. I teach you how to meditate and get rid of a headache. It's knowing how to focus on one thing and separate yourself from what's actually creating the headache. And a lot of times it's your diet that give you headaches. Most times, 90% of the time. Yeah, the toxins.
Get rid of most of the diseases with yoga and meditation. I try to tell people I'm
yoga and
They want to tax the yoga now.
I didn't want to tax yoga.
They want to tax everything. Yeah.
That's why I do it at home.
That's why I want to put cameras in your house to see what you're doing in there too.
So now, yeah, but now in the city, most of the moms are coming, the moms, organic markets are coming in the city after the water's here. And it's going, a lot of people can't afford to buy it. I thought.
I heard that, but
I'm gonna tax yoga places.
Tax them.
Tax on it.
How they gonna do that?
They never stop. Just like when you pay for your class, you get a 6% tax.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that, but I just
Yeah,
missed that.
that's what they do.
Right. Getting you right status, you gotta pay tax to him.
That's right. Right steps.
And nobody said anything against it so far.
And yoga's when you be in the good position.
Yoga, exercise, don't have to be
I mean, from my understanding,
breathing,
I think most people be in certain.
Are there any announcements
They not
for
some of them are.
I just want to say this, has anybody know, well, I understand that the hummingbird, which we barely see now, supposedly they've captured them and put little chips in them, and they take pictures and they
I heard that.
But they've been doing that, that's not new. They've been doing that for years.
But the thing that's been interesting to me, it's these bees in my backyard, it's big fat bees.
It may not be a bee.
And it is black, got a black bar, it looks just like a bee. For the past 3 or 4 years, I sit out on the back, and they come and fly around my head.
Well, you know, there was.
They get real close to me.
There was a truck that turned over, where was that? How long ago?
It's about 5 of them.
Did you hear about the technology where they have the drones that are the size of dragonflies? They look like insects, but they're remote control.
Yeah, and I was wondering, has anybody noticed anything?
Listen, a lot of changes going on because we're sick, the earth is sick. I mean, you could look, the polar caps are turning into slush. They're not telling you in a few years it might not be in Miami. Bangladesh is daggone, they're going to be gone in a few, I mean, so New York, places like Miami that's right on the shore, the sea level is rising so rapidly. I mean, soon everybody going to have to grow gills off their neck.
You become mermaid.
Right.
You be mermaid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close this out because y'all gonna talk forever.
It's been great.
They'll be here, y'all can still talk to them. Are there any announcements that's happening in the community that you want to make us aware of?
Yeah, we do have an event going on tomorrow evening at the Dynamic Wellness. Every other Monday, Dynamic Wellness, there's a healing science, tantra workshop class, and it's an ongoing class also. It's what we say is the next class builds off the next class, so it's kind of progressive like that. So if you're free on Monday evenings and would like to get more information, hands-on insight into being able to use this energy, like reptilians.
That's right.
That's what the class is all about, just being open, aware of the energy, and being able to use that energy for whatever we choose to will it to do.
Understood. Yeah.
Right.
And that's great.
Right.
There's a meditation session at the end of, she's going to do the meditation at the end of the session also.
She mentioned she would do the meditation earlier in the session, and I'm going to do the heart touch therapy at the end of the session because it plays into, releasing emotional and things like that. So, and then next Monday we'll be back here with the emotional wellness, Dr. You and myself. And actually on next Monday we're catering this emotional wellness class to men. Men get your power back.
Awesome.
We realize that our power is in the energy, so we have to understand energy and emotion, understand how to get our power back to will and make those things manifest. So on the 16th, we're having that emotional wellness to cater toward men. So information about that.
But tomorrow is what time?
7 p.m. at Dynamic Wellness, 402 8th Street.
8th and Harry.
Right, 8th and Harry, 402 8th Street Northeast, right. And we still have the daily meditations here, high noon meditations.
Is that the Old Brother Bay spot?
Old Brother Bay spot.
Yeah, good.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Same energy up in there, that open spirit, that love, that consciousness.
That's good for
Yeah. So it's beautiful that Nate kind of, just.
Yeah, Nate's in there. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, that's where you find me.
Okay.
Also, are you done?
Just remind about the meditation that we do Wednesday through Friday here during the day, high noon. I know it was brought up that maybe we could do an evening meditation, some point in time, but also just a reminder that we can still take advantage of the daily meditation that's going on here at ISC with that. And also just throwing something out there as far as us. Well, the idea is I'm offering, to get here a little earlier so I can actually have the hot water prepared in the back. So if those people would like to come before 11, finish before 11, which is when the healing starts, maybe get coffee or tea, or get here, before 11:30. That way you just some beverage, something social. For those who want to come earlier and have something, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there as an option. I'm willing to do that, but I'm not going to do it. Right, so I'm just kind of,
You're going to send the email, right?
Yeah, that's what, yeah,
So you're
okay,
doing wonderful with it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that, I can do that.
Okay.
My assistant.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay.
You got it.
So at Dynamic Wellness, and you all can take one and pass it. There's an event coming up on the 12th and 13th there. To my knowledge, there's no charge. Also, the flea market, that will be June the 21st through the 22nd, if you'd like to come and be a part of it and set up a table. We would love to have you come and join us if you take one of that.
There you go.
And we'll have our own table there, so.
Yeah, we have an ISD table.
Yeah, so if you have something that you want to donate to the ISD for us to sell it, we don't have our table there, so.
That's right, a little fundraiser, you know, raise some money for ISC. If you got something you ain't using no more, bring it on out. That's right.
That's a level we gotta get to culturally, where we understand the reason why they call money currency, because it works like electricity, you know, and when you learn how to better empower ourselves, we'll be a much stronger, structured people, because it definitely takes more than spiritualism and knowledge.
That's right.
For movements, you need funding. I mean, if Marcus Garvey can raise, 10, 15 million in the early 1900s, which is equivalent of, 500 million right now?
Right.
I mean, come on, think about it. We can do it in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We can do it here again.
That's right.
We can do it. We just gotta really love our people and don't be if these Joe Osteens and T.D. Jakes can get people, these people are making $1 million a Sunday, sometimes even more.
That's right.
But you also have to realize that those people also are funded. They have been selected,
That's true.
first of all.
None of them are government agents.
Right. They've been selected, first of all, because you have to
I know
remember
Osteen is one.
faith initiative.
That's
They
true.
will come to you and they will say, Dorita, if you will do this for us, we will do this for you.
That is
You will
true.
be out of that building in X amount of time. I know it because it's happened. I'm not playing it.
It's not a game.
Right, it's really not a game. It's
To
serious.
take this Cadillac and preach like this.
Right.
You.
And all you gotta do is every once in a while, you know, show the symbol. Come on.
It's really real. That's it's really real.
Because that's why, what's his name, TJ, Jakes and all those.
TJ.
Whatever.
Kitty snakes.
Yeah, you know, they started bringing them into the fold, because if you know anything about religion, there were only certain religions. It was Catholics, Methodists, Pentecostal, Protestant. Now they're having what they call evangelistics. So the evangelistics was welcome into the home because they were making all these big mega churches. So that was a lot of money.
Major money.
So they weren't gonna lose out on that.
They're calling them, I don't think they call them church, no, they're something centers. They're like they had to change the name because it's like, I mean, it's so contrary. Religion has its place, and it can help people where they are if you're on that level.
Right.
But it's just, what's it called again?
Faith center.
Faith centers. Like, really, if you really want to break that down, faith center, good gracious of life, you can take that so many different places. Faith center. But when you really break down what they're doing to the mind, they're literally taking all power from you and giving it to a fictitious entity.
That's right.
They're giving you art that Michelangelo drew in the image of his aunt, which is the reason why it looks feminine. Castrating yourself, breaking, I'm nothing. It's all, I'm like, what? Who told you you're nothing?
Christ.
Right, no, that's wrong. Why you're turning yourself into a daggone porch monkey. You might as well just go your own night and stand on a porch like this and just be a porch monkey. Because, you know, it literally breaks you down to the point where you can't even comprehend real truth. Because I asked this preacher myself, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, so you believe Jesus coming back? He said, yeah. I said, let me ask you this question. 2 Corinthians says to be absent from the body is to be present with God. He said, yeah. I said, so another scripture says the only way you can be in the presence of God is in the spirit and in truth. He said, yeah. I said, so that means I don't have to die to be in the presence of God. I have to mentally induce myself to tap into the spirit, be in the presence of God, right? He said, okay. I said, so 2 Corinthians be asking for the presence with the Lord, why do you associate that with death when you only can be in the presence of God in the spirit anyway? I said, okay. Another scripture says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell in it. I said, do you agree energy doesn't dissipate, it just continues on and on? He said, yeah. I said, so if I bury you in the soil right now, after you decay, the deposit of your decay will create new life inside that soil. So your physical being is no longer needed in that form because you become another life form. Because the decays from your flesh have manifested new life in the soil, you know, from the chemical signals from the sun working with the soil. I said, okay. I said, so that being said, what's the purpose of a spiritual Messiah coming back to resurrect the natural people? Make that make sense? It's no longer needed. It's already you. I'm gonna bring the dead in Christ will rise from where? You said the earth was the Lord's before the thereof, and they that dwell in it. Everything has already been reused. We can't even open our mind to think that far because you're scared to go to hell.
You going to hell?
You just got divorced, baby mama drama, baby father drama, you got cancer, AIDS, somebody just got killed, and you go emotional. Help me. So you're going in an emotional state, so your whole so-called relationship is based upon emotions.
That's right.
Where's the relationship? Everything is based upon an emotion. I don't want to go to hell. So this is a because of relationship.
That's right.
This is a because of. Now, the translation in the Hebrew, helmet being under the dirt had nothing to do with a fiery place to roam in four-state ATs to intimidate the criminals.
Yes.
So you go into this fiery place. It clearly says that Yeshua went to hell and spoke a sermon. It didn't talk about fire. What the hell? I don't know.
All right.
I'm done. Right.
Relationship is a ship, it's a vessel.
That's
It's
right.
a proper currency for it to move.
Respect. Good word, bro. Respect.
Okay, I just want to tell everybody that the ISC is having their graduation on the 14th.
Great.
We're going to be at Nate's place, and I need to talk to you and see what you open up. So it's going to be at 15, which is the Sunday.
That's a time, okay.
So instead of us being here, we'll be there.
Oh, okay.
And that's next Sunday.
Great.
Because we only have one graduate, but we have a large first year class, so they need to experience it stepping up. And she didn't care. She said we could do it under the tree, but it would be nice to at least support her.
No doubt.
So you would give people an email you send out about that? Or?
I'm going to because I didn't realize that we were going to have it on the 21st. They want to now charge us to use their sanctuary.
Oh, you know that.
And I told her, I said, well, your minister never charged for the sanctuary. He only charged for the downstairs. She was charged us $200. She said that if you want to use the downstairs, she wants to do 3. I said, what? She said, yeah, I had somebody to clean up. I said, well, I know we can't have any food. We don't have any food in the sanctuary. So what is there to clean up?
Right.
And we just have a ceremony. So, you know, everybody's got their
So
coffee.
we got to let balls
So
fall
what
off
I'm
the
gonna-
poles, you got
yeah.
vacuum.
And so what I'll do is I'll talk to Reverend Davis myself for our next year around. You know, get that nipped in the bud, because obviously she's somebody who's taking care of those things for him, and they're trying to help her. So
Okay, what's that date again?
14.
You said the 15th.
15.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
He
Next
said
Sunday.
14 because that's the day. 15.
Yeah, I'll be back from Atlanta. So.
Okay.
Okay, y'all pull out the energy, because I'm going to court on the 16th.
What you dealing with?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not trying to be personal, but some people got a little bit of special teeth in some lanes.
Same thing.
Oh, yeah. Are you representing yourself?
You
I
got
would
a,
love to.
you got an attorney?
Oh, you didn't run to a
Yeah,
bar?
I was to deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's been dragged on until now. I hit a European in the face.
Okay. Oh, so you were in the state of Maryland?
No,
DC.
Oh, you were in DC? Okay. And what was the charge?
assault,
It was assault. Which degree?
simple assault.
I said it was simple assault. And then how long has she been showing up to court? Has she been showing up to court?
Hi, in the room, I think. Yeah, but the thing is.
Oh, they wait for you to show your colors.
What they did, because I didn't have a record, they gave me a fictitious name of someone who had a record.
See, all that's beatable for one.
Right, yeah.
For one, you can't never in a court, you can never give up jurisdiction by stating your name. That's your first, once you state your name in court, they have jurisdiction over you. That's your first problem. Do not ever give them jurisdiction, because once you give them jurisdiction, you become their corporation. You become their 14th Amendment corporate fictitious artificial person. I don't. Let me tell you what I did.
What you do?
I went to court. They said, is such and such president? I said, no, his representative is. I'm here on special visitation. You have to come on special visitation because you are indigenous people. This your land. You're not a part of their government. You're not a part of it. You're not up under this form of government. This is something they created. It's all fiction. It's literally fiction. Driver's license is fraudulent.
Yes.
All of it is fraudulent. I've been pulled over. I school the police. I make them call their supervisor. Police pulled me over. He said, license, registration, and insurance card. I said, who are you? And give me your job title. He said, what? And he repeated himself. He said, you're an attorney? I said, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I said, for one, I was like, your uniform does not establish jurisdiction unless it's verbally declared. So I don't know who you are unless you tell me. Second, you asked for an insurance card. I said, are you an insurance agent? What does that have to do with my constitutional rights of travel? Third, you asked for identification. You only need identification if you're working in commerce. Me nor this car nor these youth in this car working inside of commerce. Therefore, I have to show you no daggone identification. 4, you are a sworn-in official. You're not an elected official, so you're not mandated to uphold constitutional law. All you can do is enforce policy. Okay? A U.S. Marshal, a sheriff, they can uphold constitutional law because they are original elected officials. Police do not have the jurisdiction to lock you up. You have to consent to get locked up. Don't consent. Don't sign crap. You say, I choose not to contract with you. Anything you sign is a contract. If you sign it right, UCC 1-308, all your rights are reserved. You don't have to put your name on jack squat. If you get a car, you can get a pen, cross out what you don't agree with, initial it, because it's a negotiable instrument. You give people consent over your life, they're going to take it. This your life. You live inside of you. Don't ever let nobody rape you like that. Those are the police. I know that's what I'm saying. And this has to be taught to our people. It has to be taught. Yeah, you a young brother. You need to know.
I got a lot of anger and frustration inside me, and I'm ready to take it out, but I don't want to do it the wrong way.
And I'm going to tell you, when you deal with officers, you stay on a certain frequency. Right. Because they're trained to provoke you, right? So you take them outside of their conflict interests, right? So I deal with them. I talk to officers like babies. I talk, you know how when it's like, I do that on purpose because I flip it on them. I made a state trooper throw his clipboard and pull off while I still was sitting there. I burnt his brain to pieces, and I did it on purpose. Because I got him out of pocket. I signed a certain thing. I signed all rights reserved. He said, why did you do that? He threw it, ran his pocket and pulled off. He was that mad because they don't expect you to know. They don't have no jurisdiction over you.
What if they give you paperwork and you just put a line on it?
It's a signature. It's a whatever you write is a signature. You can write an X, O, anything, whatever you can put a dot. It's your signature. You don't have to put your name. But even when you buy a car, they can monetize your name up to 9 times. They pay for that car 9 times. You buy it the 10th time. They pimp you. It's a pimp game. I don't pay nothing. I want my own tax court situation. I challenged them myself. The judge told me I should become an attorney because my paperwork was flawless. I had a this thick. It's tedious. But it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, you don't ever want to put your life in somebody else's hands who don't know you, don't care about you, don't love you. Can nobody love you more than you can love yourself? So that means your level of love for yourself has to elevate what you create for the intake, for your knowledge to exist in this world. What's the man with the knowledge that's king? Knowledge is king. And this here, and this on this soil, I knocked out a cop before on Nella Road in the 90s. He called me a nigga. And I didn't knock him off because he called me a nigga. I knocked him off because he touched me. knocked him smooth out, slid down he slumped over. And so it was around a street they called Big 30, 30th Street. So the guys, they're around here, they're known for fighting the police. So they started running down the hill, the upper cop officers back up. They said, man, roll out. I said, no, everybody saw him push me, he called me a nigga. Boy, let me tell you, they got me up 70. When I said they river danced all up and down my boy, they got this when they had them high-tech boots out and them slapsticks. So a white shirt came in there, and I said, I just need a phone call. She let me out. They beat me, they ain't touched me nowhere in the face. They had to hog tie me because I still was dropping them because they like the rest, they can't fight. So, you know, they had to hog tie me like a pig. And I took that beating and she let me out because they didn't want to deal with the charges because she knew who I was affiliated with. Even as a young man, I still was affiliated with some pretty powerful set of guys who challenged. It's a few dudes that have had life sentences. They live in this city who beat their charges and walked out that jail. When you know what you know and know how to investigate, they are scared to death of you. They do not want you to share the knowledge. It is in your right to defend yourself, whether he verbally disrespected you or physically touched you. Knock them smooth out because see, what people fail to realize, they are they are a deceitful people. Their whole history is based on violence, but when you become violent, you're an animal. Hold up. I'm savage, but you hanging a pregnant woman upside down by her ankle and cutting her pregnant stomach open, cutting that umbilical cord, and stepping on the baby head. But I'm savage? I'm savage, though. You made men sexually sodomize each other in front of their wives to break them down in front of the woman. But I'm savage. Their history on the planet, they move around your neighborhood and acting like you aren't supposed to be there. Like, yeah, what is you doing? Now I know how to coexist type people. I give it back to them. In their face, in the court, they always kick me out. Every time I go to court, I will come in there with my feds. Let me tell you something. It will be about 70 sheriffs in there in 10 minutes. Right. Anytime I go to D.C., the U.S. Marshals, they know, hey, how you doing? He's about to get it in. Yeah, I'm about to get it in. You know how I go. The sheriffs of Upper Marlboro, they get about 20, 30 sheriffs to get their dogs to try to intimidate. I said, you don't scare me. Then I get in there. I've been threatened by these people. You better be careful. I said, you coming to me, you better be careful. Obviously, I'm driving in your cage. That's right. Your network is bigger than mine. Of course it is. You got more guns, you got more technology, but I don't fear you. You see what I'm saying? Because, see, my mind understands this. I'm taking my soul to the level mentally. Even if you kill me, I will transfer my spirit and go somewhere else and still torment you. That's right. See, what you don't realize, your life energy, when you become conscious of your life energy, you can never die. That's right. That's right. See, some people know how long they've been here. That's right. Some don't. That's right. This is my third time. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And I'm conscious of it. I've been places and remembered being there. It always confused me when I was a kid, but as I progressed in my knowledge and my study, it's starting to come to me, and I have to come to with the reality. This planet rotates at a 23.5 degree angle, perfectly on its axis. And in that rotation, you actually think the life cycle is not coming back. The Earth is a sphere for a reason. Your brain is a sphere for a reason. Once you really learn how to tap into that, your power is limitless. And when you go in these people in their structures and you challenge them and you know what to say, how to say it, you become a problem. And that's why a lot of people are discouraged to do it, and they'll run to a church and just get it in. I'm just going to go to heaven. No. No, you ain't going to no heaven. You better create your heaven in your mind, because you're going to die and find out it's something different. You know what I'm saying? You got to make your, because if you think about it, if these preachers really believed in heaven, why are you buying $24,000 gold toilets? You hear about the lady, Myers? Bought a $24,000 toilet. But you believe in heaven. No, you don't. You pimping. Yeah, let me tell you what I know for sure. I'm a musician. I play the Hammond organ. And I used to play for a lot of churches. People would ask me, if you don't have this belief, why you in here? I said, because they pay me $600 a Sunday.
That's right.
I'm gonna get them in the spirit real quick, pay the organ. That money good. No problem. I'm gonna get it in there, right?
That's right.
So for playing for these people, I've seen the trickery. I've seen Juanita Bynum come to a church. They gave her $50,000 to come speak. After the service, she acted like the Holy Spirit throw her a football pass. She goes, yeah, oh, wait, yes, God is talking. Yes, speak God. I know this is going to sound crazy, but God says right now, with 25 people, I saw her do this with my own eyes, will come down with $1,000 by Friday. You're going to have a blessing. These idiots got up and ran down there with checkbooks out and gave it. This woman left that church with $75,000, maybe more, in a 45-minute period. I done got a lot of money in the streets before I changed my life. I ain't never made $75,000 in one day. I was like, yo, I mean, straight on people's emotions. You so pressed for a blessing, you already blessed. You breathing, you praying over your food, you caught your food. Eat your food, it's already blessed because you blessed because your hands touched it. You know what I'm saying? We are so scared of ourselves and brainwashed. I saw Creflo Dollar. I was in Atlanta. I was in the studio with these people. I saw these people. I just raised a $400,000 offering. I'm flying down Florida. You know, I'm gonna have a little itch with it. I've seen this. Married men, so-called married men, they pimping. If I tell you the stories, I know all these preachers. One of my closest friends was raped in his church by a minister in a bathroom by a man. This stuff is crazy. He just told me this 2 years ago. He's in his 40s now. It broke my heart to know he went through that. I said, if you was my son, I would have went to church on a Bible study day and killed him in the pulpit if you raped my son. I'm sorry, I know that sounds violent, but you got to be made an example of. I don't approve of molesters. I can't stand it because you destroy lives.
Exactly.
And I've been counseling kids for years. Have these kids with these murder beefs and all this and that. They've been molested. They try to prove themselves as men. So they feel like they got to kill, go hard, because that nasty uncle, that cousin, the mother's boyfriend that she thought was more special than the son, you know what I mean? And then they try and prove themselves. All these kids who think they have to be gay because they've been violated. I worked with a kid who was raped by his own father when he was 5. And he's about to get married now. And when I got him, he had extensions in his head, makeup on his clothes. And I worked with him for 6 months. He said, I thought I had to be this way. Nobody told me I could be a man. He said, I want to be a man. He said, I thought I had to be this way because of what happened to me. It brought tears to my eyes. Because no man, and I said, how am I going to penetrate this kid's mind because he don't trust men? That's the only way I can do is with spiritual love. I let him hang with me. He said, well, based on your image, you sure you want me with you? I don't want nobody to think you gay. I said, I know who I am as a man, son. You my son. I'm going to teach you how to be a man. This kid, the extensions left. The female makeup left. The female clothes left. He came to me one day. My nickname is Jack. He said, Mr. Jack, I want to become a man. He said, I want to become a man. He said, I thought I had to be this way. He said, I didn't know I could achieve this. This was 3 years ago. This kid is 20 now and has a fiance.
That's all right.
When you spend time with these kids and really tap into them, some of us adults got hell to pay with karma, with our perversions and our physical. I tell guys all the time, do not be a whore for your flesh. When you do that, when you become a whore for a feeling, you'll get to the point where it don't matter what can manifest the feeling as long as it's manifesting.
That's right.
That's why you can't be a whore for your feeling. Because I grew up with some cats that did strange things for Jordans.
Right.
And I was like, you're dishonorable. I've been in these penitentiaries. Some of these guys you think cold-blooded animals and killers in straight relationships, getting locked up on purpose to go back and be with them. I've seen it. I've seen it. Going out kissing their boo and coming out kissing their wife and kissing and hugging their kids. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's an epidemic, and America's supporting it. This is not okay. You cannot procreate in somebody's rectum. It's not okay. It's not okay. And our kids And now we're putting a situation, kids in a situation where they can't choose no more.
That's
Right.
You have to do this. You have to put. No, you don't. And now I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. The same Constitution of support you gonna support me. We gonna run with it. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, and I tell these guys all the time, if you jump out there boldly in what you do, don't get mad at me when I say what I'm gonna say to you. Because you jumped out there, and don't make me look like I'm a criminal because I'm telling you how I feel.
You can get locked up now.
But they can get locked up too because I'm gonna flip the script on them. Because I'm gonna flip the script because first of all, you infringing on my belief now. I don't agree with you. I don't try to force my beliefs on you because you disagree with me. Don't try to force your way of life on me, and I don't agree with it. They just put an officer in Utah on administrative leave because he didn't want to do security at the Pride Parade. That's his constitutional right. He don't believe in it. I don't mean I'm judging you. Don't mean I'm hating you. That means I don't believe in what you do. That's it. I don't wish misfortune on you, but at the end of the day, I do have a problem with a man has to cover his beard, but it's okay for two men to kiss. I mean, that's not good to me. I'm one of the people where I'm not one of the people that say one thing and worry about what the crowd gonna say. I've got putting out of churches. Preachers have said, well, can you come speak to the youth? I say, listen, you know how I go. Don't invite me if people try to, temper me because I don't do that. And I got to talk about homosexuality. I don't call it homosexuality because that word came from the island in Greece called the Isle of Homos, when they were doing all that craziness at. I'm going to call you what you are. You ride penises. And that's what I said. You are a penis receiver. That's what you are. I'm not going to make gay in the dictionary means I'm happy. There's a lot of mad gays. So come on now. That's right. So let's just keep it 100 and stop being. This is breaking our community down. Yes. It's making it cool for young ladies to dress up like men because a thorough woman has not taught her how to be feminine.
They're going hard.
They're going, I'm coming in, and these little guys who totally compromise who they are being women, that's unacceptable. If I got to go to jail and get locked up and fight my case, that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to shut up. You can't scare me. What, you gonna scare me with jail? You can't scare me because my mind is free. That's right. Ain't nothing you can do to me. Right. My mind's free. You want to come with the police, you can come with the attack dogs. I'm not going to change my perspective because you want to Zionize everything and make everybody have your belief. You have to stand up for your belief. That's right. If you don't believe, what was my man, Reverend Bevel? I don't know if y'all know about Reverend Bevel. Reverend Bevel was right-hand man with Martin Luther King. He was cold with a gangster. They gave him cancer in jail and killed him. He said, the problem with niggas, you disagree, but you go along.
Wow. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Disagree, but you go along. I tell people, if I don't agree with it, I don't go with it. Right. You can be my family member. I love you, but your behavior I cannot have around my children. And I'm telling you this in love. That's right. I love you, brother, but I cannot approve of your behavior. Because it's breaking our community down. I want my daughter to have a man. I want her to have a thorough man, so she don't got to always call me to move a bookcase. Because this punk sucker can't do nothing. I want her to be a thorough dude. If she got a beef, she don't got to always call me. Go knock her beef out. Go handle that, son. We men. Our generation is shot in the future. You can talk to dudes in our age group 30 to 50. These men talking like they're 17 years old. Brother, what you reliving? Let's be grown men. It's okay to be grown man and be thorough. We live in a terrible era. People like us got to stand up and stand our square and face this stuff as men. We can't allow our culture to go on like that because we are being totally annihilated.
Yeah.
We're being annihilated. Like this, your situation, we should mop up in court with you.
Yeah. Come on, go with
People still support you. Yeah, see, we'll support. Well, Malcolm did like this and told the people stop riding in front of the jail. And they said that's too much power for one man to have. When all the people walk, that's when we had a little bit more community. Yeah. And one thing, we both 50, about 100, we gonna mob up. We don't got that love for each other no more. That's the problem. That's the problem. We really got to step up our game because we being annihilated already.
People can't look at facts. They have a hard time looking at facts and now people don't listen.
I'm just saying, we ain't scared to kill. We ain't scared to eat that pork chop, that steak and cheese, that alcohol, that weed, whatever. We ain't scared to do that. But we scared of this little puny Caucasian law that he made. I'm not scared of you. And I'm never going to be scared of you. Death is death. Whether you die in your sleep, you get shot, stabbed, ain't nothing you can control about it. It's all fear. Don't be scared of transformation. Transformation is going to happen whether you like it or not. So really, nobody has nothing to lose because everybody has a date. So why not go for what you know? I'm sorry.
I don't go to church.
I'm tired of my little feminine kids on here, man. I want to see thorough men.
I was basically the only one in my building that challenged him. You know, he's trying to smoke us out. I wouldn't stand for it.
What, the cigarettes?
No, big barrel in his yard and burning wood and the smoke is coming in out.
Doing it on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
You went out there like Sister Soldier was on your and got on his line.
Actually, I really didn't want to go out there. I wanted the fireman to do their job. Right. And I told him, I said, I don't bother with him.
I heard Tubman came on there.
Yeah, so I went out there, but no, I stood my distance.
Right.
And
he came to you?
Twice. He came
you did
at
what
me
you're supposed to
twice.
do.
Right.
But they try to say there's no self-defense law in the D.C. But guess what? When you live inside yourself, you're going to defend me. I don't care what law you got.
Well, they don't have me stand your ground or what you violate my space and all. They don't.
Because this is not a Commonwealth state. They don't consider the city. We don't have no representation in Congress and this and that. You don't own your house. You can pay for your house and they can still stake it with eminent domain. It's all crap. Yeah, it's terrible. But this is the stuff we gotta fight for. Like I said, like when I have the time and I send out messages. Look here, brother. It should be a network where if one of us call one another and we have a situation, somebody should show up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And no matter, and I'm not. If you woke me up out of my sleep, I shouldn't be. Let me help you. Now I'm here. What you need? We shouldn't show any discomfort because everybody want to be this and that until they in a situation and they need help. Until you in a situation and when you lay down, because people are like, I saw this guy beating the brakes off this woman. I mean, he was beating her so bad. And my father was like, son, I know you want to help her, but don't do it. Don't get in no domestic situations. I said, Pop, I just can't take that. I pulled over the car. I cracked dude upside his head over him. He drops. This woman jumps on my back and said, get off of him. I was, both her eyes was black, nose bloody, lips split. She jumped on my back and said, please don't hurt me. And I said, that is that deep embedded self-hate.
That's right.
There is no love in that. And I'm like, our whole community, the brother is sick because he's hurting from something. And I have a saying, hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
Hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
We walk around or hurt you poisoning everybody else with your poison.
That's right.
I tell these guys, my mother never done that for me. I said, well, do something for your mother. My father never did that for me. Do something for your father. Show him what he didn't do for you. That's the next level of love. You say you ready to transition? Let's see how thorough you are. Let's transition. Can you really love your enemy? Now think about that. That's a two-way sword, loving your enemy. Because that can almost be like a sniper studying his prey.
Right.
That's right.
I'm loving you to the point where I'm learning how to kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? So that's a two-way sword.
Don't love me like that.
No, I'm just saying. Love me to life.
So we ask that you get to hurting yourself, but please hurt yourself. Please.
I just want to tell you, I did a story like that this week. I did that this week for like 15 years. I've been hating my baby mother.
Yeah.
Without accepting any responsibility of the situation and what was going on. And when I grew up and realized that I played my part in that situation, 230, and I changed my heart towards the situation. So last week I get a phone. This is why I've been busy. I've been going through so many experiences. I wasn't no most. I'm going through a lot of experiences this week. So this week when the lady called from child support, I was like 21,000 behind.
Wow.
The lady called from child support, and normally my attitude would be, that ain't me no more. My name is Blue Mama. Don't be calling me. I know the same thing you know. I know how to do all that.
Yeah.
Cause Chef could tell you, he was in court with me one day.
Right.
And they walked me about it, and that lady told me, man, you need to be careful. You know what you're doing up in here.
Yeah, that's right. You quit. Yeah.
Right, you quit. So what happened was once I changed myself towards the situation towards my baby mother, I started loving her and I started communicating with her. That's all she wanted. So guess what? I called when the people called me this week. Like I said, I don't be calling. I talked to her. I was cordial with the situation. So when she got off the phone with me, she must have called my daughter's mother.
Right.
The next morning, I get up and get a phone call. It's my daughter's mother. She say, I need a ride. I said, huh? I said, where you need a ride to? She said, I need a ride downtown so we can get rid of the child support.
Wow.
I picked up the
This
next
communication.
I picked up the next morning. She went down there and I asked her to get her because you know that 21,000. She said, a woman, that type of 21,000. I said, did that hurt? She said, you knew it. I started laughing.
But guess what? Man, your transition was so powerful, it created her transformation. That's how powerful your transformation was. That you was a king, led her into your line of fire, bro. That's how big love is. Love is only to be understood on a spiritual level.
That's right.
Love ain't in the physical. Love is to only be understood spiritually. You had to go on yourself and do that. You had to get out your physical emotion. Once you separated yourself from your physical emotion, you're like, you know what? Hold up, I'm going about this a whole other way. You know what I'm saying? Because you had to operate on the understanding of a female.
Right.
You had to operate on her level. I understand.
Understand on her level.
Yeah, I just want you to talk to me. Just talk to me. Just talk to me once in a while. You say it like a real heart.
I got to get pretty talk to her. She's like, dang, man, at first you had me running thinking it was me all this time. That's all I did was communicate.
Communication is everything. When your brain stops communicating with your body, you die. So the same thing with people. When you don't communicate, you kill or you destroy relationships. There's a lack of communication. One of the biggest reasons for the relationships being destroyed outside of economics is communication.
That's the biggest.
Communication and dishonesty. I tell people all the time, it costs nothing to be yourself. It's free. All the weave, all the mountains of makeup, all this and all of that. It's called facelift, buying butts, cheeks, lips, everything. It costs nothing to be you. It's for free. When you can walk in that freedom of honesty, man, who can really get on your line? Nobody can really get in your business. Nobody, because you're free inside yourself. That's the best place you could ever be as a human being. Free.
Why you stop? Mr. Boy, girl, thumbs left.
This is right there.
Did we make it?
I got it.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe.
Switch.
Keep switching, keep switching.
All right.
Well, and standing on your square. And finding that peaceful place within inside of yourself. And say, peace, still. Be still and feel the power of your glory and your authority as a divine being, knowing that you are who we've been waiting for. Give yourself permission to walk in that authority and to use it. Allow the energy to encircle your heart, your mind, and your physical being. And for this time that we spend together in oneness and harmony, we say Ashe, 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 Ashe.
Ashe.
So Give a hug, get a hug. Food
Good to be here. I needed this.